Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Meat Lover podcast. It's been about a year, almost to the day, I guess, since the very first episode.
Yeah, kind of.
I guess I'm sorry we're gone for so long. We missed a lot of stuff I guess we could talk about. But, work, life happened, and such things. Today I'm joined by Vudo and Vudo only.
Yeah, hi.
We kicked Chris because he sucks.
Or not. He just didn't really want to participate in this. But yeah, now people know who I am, but who are you?
Yeah, who am I? I haven't been on the channel in a really long time. I'm Max Power. And I used to do a lot of videos on the channel. I haven't done so for, I don't know, I guess a really long time now, actually. Also, like 9 months or something.
Oh yeah, it's definitely close to that.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, if you've listened to the other podcast, I was the host of the first 2 episodes, and I'm the host of this one as well.
Yeah.
So, I guess we've decided that we're going to go with a topic list that's much like the old one. Basically, we're going to start with esports.
Esports!
And this time it's basically just going to be about League, because we, in the intervening year, we've basically stopped watching StarCraft.
And playing it, for that matter.
Yeah, also stopped playing it, and really gotten deep into League. At least for me, I've really played a lot of League, especially lately. So we're going to talk about that, and that's going to be mostly about Worlds.
Yeah.
Now that we've just seen the semifinals, and then we're going to talk about the preseason, some of the stuff that's happened on the public beta environment, PB. So that's going to be kind of interesting because we've both seen some stuff from some popular streamers, and we're both kind of confused and worried, I guess.
More not so much the confused part for me, but more the worried part because I main the jungle, and I guess we can start off with that. Right? Because I'm gonna finish going through the topic list though. And then we're gonna talk about what you've been playing. So Budo's gonna talk a little bit about Shadows of Mordor, and I'm gonna talk about some other stuff. And then we're gonna have a lot of technology this time because Chris isn't here to sleep through it. So I guess we're just gonna go nuts on the technology part, and talk nerdy. Although all this is nerdy. And that's going to be it for the topic list. Yeah. So let's start talking about just Worlds, I think, is the great way to start, because the semifinals just happened this weekend. Oh, yeah.
Starhorn Royal Cub beat down the losers of OG, and Samsung White played a bot game against, I think it was beginner bots.
No,
dude. With a pretty
these,
impressive score.
These people actually warded and lane swapped and ganked, so it had to be intermediate.
Yeah, that's true, but they died like bots, though.
Don't tell them that. It will hurt their feelings.
Yeah, I think that pretty much had to happen.
Yeah.
So I think we're gonna take it chronologically. Let's start with the Samsung White versus bot game. Obviously, they played against Samsung Blue.
Yeah.
I'm kind of making fun of them. If you haven't seen it, what happened is
oh god, I didn't even I watched the first game and the last game because I was at work that day, so I didn't really see it live. But I saw it the other day, so I just skipped through. 2 games.
If you haven't seen it, if any of the audience hasn't seen this series, I'll say one thing so you know how big of a stomp this is. The game was 3-0 to Samsung White over Samsung Blue, their sister team, and I think their top laner Looper had a 52 KDA at the end of this series.
Wow.
I think he died maybe once this entire series. I'm actually checking up on that. Yeah, he died once on Maokai in game 2.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I know, what a noob.
No!
So, he that was absolutely one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen. So, to set it up a little bit for those who don't know, both of these Samsung teams are obviously from Korea.
Yeah.
And they're from the OGN. And in the OGN, this season, the Samsung teams have been absolutely dominating.
Yeah.
The thing that's happened so far is that, for some reason, these teams keep meeting up in the semifinals.
Meh.
And the first time they met back in spring, everybody, thought that Samsung White was this brilliant, ridiculously good team, and Blue was this sort of hangers-on who picked up the old White mid laner and sort of went from there and did okay. and then they ended up winning OGN, beating White in the semifinals, going into the finals and completely destroying White Shield, Naju White Shield. So that was pretty crazy, and they ended up in the finals of the season after that in the exact same way, going up against Samsung White and beating them 3-1. This is the second time.
Yeah.
So going into Worlds, they had the most circuit points, meaning they were the highest seed from Korea, Blue was.
Yeah.
And everybody was expecting them
to win it all.
They've been looking more shaky than White, but to basically, win, because that's what they've been doing.
Yeah.
I mean, they have been beating White consistently, and this time it really did not happen.
Nope. But I gotta say there, maybe White just took a play out of TSM's book. Or Cloud9 for that matter, because I'm sitting in here and looking on lolesports.com on the scoreboard from all the way from the quarterfinals all to the finals. That's this Sunday, and we're recording this at point now 00:52, 14th of October 2014, and it just became a Tuesday. So yeah.
It's the middle of the night.
Yeah, that's. But yeah, I had work, and you were doing stuff.
I was bored.
Yeah. But as it stands here in the quarterfinals, Samsung White was up against Team Solo Mid, which is my favorite team. That's what I've been rooting for all the time, and they actually went 3-1. So.
The only loss White has had this entire tournament is against TSM, which is ridiculous because I think I heard the statistic that no American team had beat a Korean team from, I think, 2012 up until TSM won that single game against White, which is
in Group
patently ridiculous.
Yeah, Samsung White was in Group A as the first team, and they had a 6-0 win record here, and TSM had a 4-2. So. And
they were actually considered to be in a fairly. I mean, everybody was predicted what was actually eventually happening, which is that the White being the second tier team out of Korea would end up as number 1, and number 2 would probably be EDG because there was a top team from China. That's what happened, but it was a lot more competitive. Actually, I mean, EDG played pretty terribly.
They have a 4-3, so.
Yeah, they had to play a tiebreaker game against the Taipei. Was it Taipei Assassins or was it? No, it was AHQ.
Yeah, AHQ Esport Club. And I'm looking here at the fourth member.
Not considered very
good. And both AHQ and Dark Passage are newcomers and really, really up and runners we do not know anything about, actually. Because they're so new. They are a Season 4 starter team.
I mean, if you do follow the GPL, I guess you'd know who the AHQ is.
Yeah, but what about Dark Passage? Where are they from?
They're from Turkey.
That's why I haven't heard of them.
Yeah, there are 2 wildcard teams of the Worlds this year. We had Dark Passage from Turkey and Kaboom from Brazil. And I think Kaboom actually showed a lot of talent. They actually defeated. It was not White Shield. Actually forced a tiebreaker for first place between Cloud9 and White Shield. So that was very impressive. They really did well.
Their overall KDA here. I'm looking at
Alliance. That's right. I forget. They beat Alliance. They didn't beat White Shield. They beat Alliance.
Okay, but I'm in and looking at their stats here because I do not know anything about them. But their average KDA is 0.5, and average goal per minute is 1.3k. And average total goal is 38k. Okay, good. We looked at them. Let's go in and look at White, just because I'm still thinking they're the biggest team right now. So
they definitely are.
And
actually, I think it was Monte Cristo, the one of the casters, the analysis guy from OGN. He said that there is this. He has a theory that maybe White has been the greatest team in the world, basically since spring. But because they've met their sister team, which is kind of weird because it's a team you're going to scrim against very, very often, so the way you fight them is going to be kind of weird because you know them so well. They've basically been cheated out of these championships that they would have won had they played them.
Okay.
And I think that's fairly accurate, actually. I think they've actually been cheated out of a lot of titles that they should have gotten. but there is no way to explain just how strong White is looking in this tournament.
But
I mean, they've not been. It's not like they've been like squeaking out wins and just being lucky to not only be defeated once. They've been decimating everybody.
Yeah, they have.
And I mean,
seriously,
this is such a crazy stomp because I think one of the weird things that's happened this tournament is that Blue came in as somewhat of a favorite. I think most people favored White over Blue, which they generally tend to do because White is kind of their way is more consistent. Because what Blue generally does is they kind of fall behind, and then they go in and they take some really ingenious team fights. I mean, they can actually win a team fight 10k gold down often, and they'll do this with sort of they're kind of the users and abusers of the Protect the Kog'Maw concept.
Huh.
So you pick Kog'Maw, you pick Mundo, Maokai, or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then you sort of have this really safe. You play really safe and disengage with a Nami support option.
Oh yeah, of course. Nami is a really good disengage. But I have White's stats here. Their stat records are 12 wins and 1 loss. TSM. Just gotta say that. Average KDA is 10.7. 10.7. Average gold per minute is 2.0k. Average gold, total gold, that's 59k. There's a big differential between those two teams. And that's the I forgot their name because they're unimportant for me. Dark Passage.
No, yeah, well, Dark Passage, international wildcard team, and they're not really worth talking
about.
No,
not really, but that's they're kind of the baddest. Not I'm sorry to say this, but baddest team. 0-6.
Yeah,
that's a world stomp.
But you can also see why White is so favored, because if you look at the Blue versus White scores, I mean, I think it was probably after this game to be fair, but going into that game, Blue had 2 losses, White had 1 throughout this entire tournament. They almost going through this whole thing without being defeated.
Yeah, White's not.
What's
not
really
White's.
interesting about this matchup, though, is that, as I was trying to explain, White generally tends to do well in the early game, where Blue does well in late.
Yeah.
So what's been happening to White is that they've been gaining an advantage over Blue in these matches. I've seen all of them, and then it just erodes because they go into team fights and they lose because Blue is just so ridiculously good at them. So what they did this time, and it's rather interesting, if you go and take a look at, I'm going to send you a link for basically the games, so you can take a look at the picks.
Okay.
For the different teams.
Oh yeah, good idea. Yeah.
And what's really weird about this first game in particular is that you have Akali top lane.
Akali top lane.
Which at first I was looking at because they
9-0.
You can't see this from this page, but the bans were very top lane focused. I think both Ryze and Maokai were gone. And I think Rumble was gone as well. So basically all the top picks from Worlds for top, they were evaporated. Which left a Kayle going up against an Akali, which is kind of odd. The other odd thing is that Blue's been doing these, they've been picking these odd AD carries. Like, Blue is known for Kog'Maw.
Varus.
And they've been picking Twitch. And Twitch is such a different kind of AD carry. I feel like Deft, the AD carrier for Blue, kind of feels like every big AD carry, right? They're kind of, right now, they're known for, like, Vayne, which is kind of ridiculous right now. You can't really play a Vayne in this meta against these champions. She's basically unplayable. So the other champion that's a lot like her is Twitch.
Yeah.
Right? This carry who can just, like, destroy entire teams.
Yeah, but very, very much auto-attack focused.
Yeah, and very mechanics.
And has no skill shots-ish.
But the thing is, he's not the kind of, like, he is really, really good, but he's very focused on sort of good team fighting, obviously, sure. But he's very focused on picks.
Yeah.
And that's really not what Blue does well. But they've been picking him a lot. And in this game, they picked Varus. Which was really strange. Varus Cillian. I don't know where the synergy there is. Like,
there is.
If you look at this team, it's completely weird, right? You have Kayle top lane, Varus bot, you have a Cillian support. The whole thing is just, it's just this random crappy composition.
The weirdest thing is there's not really any tanks in either of the teams, but yeah, that's...
But that's the smart part, because normally I am a very big proponent of the top lane tanks. I think they're very, very necessary.
Yeah.
In this game, I think White did the exact right thing. If you have a tendency to get ahead of the opponent team, but can't close it because you just don't snowball hard enough to beat them,
pick an Akali.
Then you pick a... Yeah, exactly. You pick a top lane assassin and you start hurting them. Yeah. And you can see, what did Looper come out of this game? 9-0-8.
Yeah, that's amazing. But hey, before you go on, I actually have the stats of Blue, Samsung Blue here. They have 8 wins and 5 losses throughout the entirety of Worlds. Where
that's counting the game against White, though.
And White's stats were also counting the games there. Their KDA is only 6.4. Average goal per minute is 1.8k, and average total goal is 65k. They might end up with 4,000 or 5,000 more total gold, but if they lose 200g per minute, that's a lot, and their KDA is worse than theirs. But yeah, still,
I think we'll remember that Dade came out of this first game with an 0.72. Yeah. That completely ruins your KDA rating. So I think one of the reasons why the KDA has been so bad
has is because 0.7 and 2. Shit.
Yeah, 0.7 and 2. That's really bad. This whole game, I mean, this whole series kind of sums up like this, right? Blue has been trying to play champions, especially AD carries, that they don't play well.
Yeah.
And that doesn't fit their style. Like, Twitch and Varus makes no sense. Nope. Considering, like, in one of the earlier games, we saw Deft play Corki. And he was amazing on Corki. Corki is a great carry for Deft because he just destroys on it. He's really, really good at it. Yeah. And for some reason, he just doesn't pick it. It was up this series, and he never picked it. He never picked it. And then for the second game, if you look at that one, they go with a Galio top because they're just so starved to get a good tank up there.
And Ryze in mid lane, right?
Yeah, why would you pick Ryze for mid if you're missing a good top laner? It doesn't make any sense. I know Dade is one of the premier Ryze players, and he's very good at it, and Ryze is a good mid. He is. But if you're missing a good tanky top laner, it doesn't make any sense. Oh yeah, that's Dade's signature thing, actually.
Really? Oh yeah, he has that. No, in game 1 he actually used exhaust.
It's because he was playing Yasuo. But generally, when he plays mages, he always gets Ghost. The thing is, Ghost is really good for team fighting, so you can sort of reposition. It's one of the things that Dade is really well known for. Like someone like Faker, he's known to like basically have games where the support doesn't exist because he kills them all the time, and outplaying people in lane and stuff like that. Dade is known for the Ghost Flash, incredible team fights. And you can see if you look at this team count, right? Yeah. How the hell is this Galio gonna get an ult off?
I don't really know. Not with theirs, because they have Corki. Imp has Corki. There's a Rengar. He's quick to get off, especially with the Locket of the Iron Solari. And a Thornmail! What's that? Team. Okay.
Look at the poke from this team. You have Corki and you have Jace.
Yeah, and Morgana.
Massive poke. You can lock down with Morgana. Yeah. And you can both kill people real hard with Rengar.
Yeah, and both lockdown and poke with Maokai. Those football were saplings, you would call it, but I skinned to win. They're actually pretty amazing. You don't have to have any kind of AP to actually get them to work, because they slow when they hit, and they AoE hit, so... And they follow.
It's basically everything Maokai does is AoE, except for his ultimate. Or has a CC, except for his ultimate, which is quite impressive.
His Q is displacement, right? If you hit.
It's slow as well.
Oh, yeah.
It's a knockback, slight knockback, and then it slows as well.
Can't Yasuo get something off with his Q?
I think so, yeah. But it's not the greatest setup. I think the best setup for Yasuo, honestly, is an Alistar or a Lee Sin. I think the Lee Sin getting the kick and just killing people.
Actually, but me and Chris, we ran a while where I was either Jarvan or Vi, and that worked really well, because Vi has two things that knocks up. Yeah, both her Q and her ult.
Yeah, but what's really great about Lee Sin though, is that you can just like do those really quick dashes in and kick people out, and you can kind of just take your pick of who you want to kill if you're really good at it, which I think someone like Insec is really good at, and Spirit is actually also shown he's really good at it. But yeah, the problem is this. I mean, the really smart thing that they're doing from White is that they're picking away the top lane champions that really make blue work, and at the same time, or banning them away, and then they're going in, they're picking these really, really, really good comps. With a ton of poke and a lot of team fighting, and they just steamroll that game out of control. And I think that was one of the most beautiful series I've ever seen. I mean, Samsung never stood a chance, honestly. Samsung Blue didn't. It was quite impressive.
No, especially if you look at Game 3, what the hell's up with Dade? He's 0-7-3, and has a Magi Soul Stealer. What is this, Bronze 5?
I think that was a desperation move.
Certainly that's Bronze 5.
I saw that. Well, Magi Soul Stealer, I mean, think about it. If you're in a situation where your team is losing horribly, and the only way you're going to get back in it, if you have pull off some really epic TF moves, then why not get this thing? Because you may as well go gung-ho, because this is the last, like, this is the only way you're going to outscale. If you look at he's level 10 at the end of this game, and Kassadin is level 13. Fizz is level 14. He's 4 levels behind the
he was up against... Fizz?
He was up against Fizz, Kassadin was top. But you can see, like, what's really impressive about this is that I think White really, like, first of all, Blue didn't play to their strengths. They didn't, which is a major fail in my book. And the other thing is that White kind of figured it out. They said, we're not going to go into another game where we're eventually going to lose a team fight, and then lose another team fight, and then die, even though we're ahead by like 10,000 gold. This is over. We're going to go in there, we're going to pick some really, really strong picks, and we're going to deny them the top laners that make their compositions work. Because when it comes to strong team fighters, the top lane is where you get those.
Yeah.
Like the Maokai, the Ryze, the Rumble, all these champions, they come from the top lane. And if you deny your opponent those champions, it's going to be really difficult for them, especially because right now the meta for support is disengagers.
Yeah, it is.
So you really need the top laner to have some real engage, especially because the meta for jungle is paradoxically assassins.
Yeah, which I still think is kind of weird, because...
I mean, except for
Jarvan is still extremely viable, and he's not assassin at all. Whenever I've run him in a jungle, I find myself kind of doing the supporty thing, because I don't get the kills, I just make sure they happen. Which is which is equally as important.
I mean, that's what's good about Jarvan, is that I think, but what's bad about Jarvan is that he is such a dangerous pick.
Yeah.
Because it's so easy to pick a lot of champions with dashes that just... I mean, you can do a lot of damage with a Jarvan ultimate if you use it poorly.
Yeah.
For your own team. And at the same time, if the opponent just picks a team where it doesn't really matter, like, against... For example, if you pick Lee Sin into it, Lee Sin gets out of it. Tristana gets out of it. Lucian gets out of it. Like, just pick someone, like, even, I think Vayne can now tumble out of it, too.
Yeah, but she has to do it kind of like off-center thingy.
Yeah, and I think she has to use her ult.
Yeah, she has to use her ult to do it.
But I think they did some changes. I haven't tested it lately, so I don't know exactly how it works, but they made some changes to how player-created walls interact with stuff. Like, I think you can now condemn people into player-created terrain. So I think
both with
Seer's
ult, you can condemn people into that.
But yeah, I guess that's it for Samsung. But I just thought that was a really impressive series, and if anybody out there is just up to see like a massive stomp with a team that's just playing out of their minds, that's just totally the game to go for. The more interesting match, I guess, was a Starhorn Royal Club versus OMG, which you've seen some of. I believe.
Yeah.
I saw all of it on Sunday.
Yeah,
that was a really interesting match, actually, because the game I want you to focus on, because the game went to 5 games. The game I want you to see, I'm going to send you a link right now,
more links.
Is Game 5.
Ooh, Game 5.
And the reason why I want you to see Game 5 is because I think Starhorn Royal Club outpicked OMG so hard in this game, it is it boggles my mind. Because I think two of the most defining picks of the World Championship right now are Ryze and Maokai.
Yeah.
Right now, if you look at the top lane, like I know some people really like Rumble, but Rumble is a really hit or miss champion.
Yeah.
And if you're like Balls from C9 who's really good at Rumble, you can do some really cool stuff on him. If you mess up an ultimate, you're basically done.
Yeah, that's kind of his all-in. That's when he's...
Yeah, and that's what's good about Ryze and Maokai, is that you can't really mess up their ultimate because it's up all the time, and it's really very easy to use. And they're just incredibly strong right now. So what they did is they
took both
Ryze and Maokai. Right. They took both Ryze and Maokai, and that was basically the end of that game.
And I see more and more Jace for mid lane. And not very many mid laners running Ignite anymore. It's actually more of an exhaust thing. And I think that's more of Ignite and exhaust. They kind of do the same, but then not. Ignite. That's if if you can't get the kill off, you can put that on, and make sure if they have like 100 HP left and they're already out of your melee or range. They die,
I don't know.
and exhaust, you can catch up to them, and they don't do damage to you.
Ignite makes sense on champions like an Ahri, who's really dependent on getting a kill to get going, or really good on a support if you're up against like a really heavy sort of lifesteal dependent champion or stuff like that. For example, I would say Ignite is actually surprisingly good against Ryze, even though people never really pick it, because he can sometimes be really dependent on that ultimate spell vamp, and you can reduce that. But it's really good in situations where you need to sort of deny a champion the ability to sustain in fights. I think that's what Ignite does the most. It does help with damage output and does put kill pressure on your lane, but compared to something like going Ghost or going Exhaust, I think both of those are significantly better in most cases.
Okay.
Personally, and I think that's why pros are going for it more and more. You see less and less Ignite use, and I think that's speaking to the strength of some of the summoner spell changes for Season 4, that they're much more varied. I actually, personally, I think the teleport top lane meta is the perfect
the teleport
way
in top lane
to do that. I don't want the Ignite meta back for top lane. I think this is way more fun. It's more fun to play top lane.
Yeah, if you have the teleport. I was actually the other day I was playing as a top laner, which is my old role. I was trying it again, and I was up against a... Why can't I remember it? I was Trundle, and I was up against a... I can't remember.
Rumble?
No, I don't think it was Rumble. It was something that that was more movable. Oh yeah, it was a Fiora with Ignite.
Right, it was a Fiora,
a Fiora with Ignite. After I think it was after 5 minutes, I got first blood. I actually got first blood, and it was the Fiora falling to the bite. I seriously munched her down. So
I mean, I don't think. I mean, that's the thing. The problem with playing with the Ignite meta for a long time was that, like, if you looked at the even pro games, you'd see that after like 8 or 9 minutes, the top laners often hadn't recalled. Because it takes so long to get up to that lane that nobody wanted to lose CS, and everybody was playing Shyvana and Renekton, and they could clear lanes so quickly that basically you lose CS the moment you recalled. There's no way to solve that problem, which meant that going for a mana champion was basically impossible in top lane. I'd say, because you'd lose CS and you get behind, and it was really difficult. And I think this is really nice. Although there's definitely some discrepancy in the top lane right now. I think top lane meta is shrinking rapidly. Like for a while, you'd see Lulu and Kayle and Ryze.
Yeah,
and
that's
Maokai
a long time ago.
Irelia, and now basically it's Maokai and it's Ryze and sometimes Rumble.
And sometimes Irelia. Actually, I've seen that.
Yeah, every once in a while you see an Irelia, but in general, what you see work are those champions, and I think it's kind of sad to see the meta shrink, because Riot has done a great job. I think. Making room for more champions and more picks, Just see some of the stuff that Faker plays. I think Faker's been really good also at introducing new champions into the mid lane, and I think it's kind of sad to see that the top lane hasn't.
But I'm still quite a bit confused about the Jace because let's see, just half a year ago he was unplayable in any kind of setup. Because
he's been fairly decent for a while. I think Jace's situation is kind of he's kind of like Ryze, where for a while Riot nerfed tier the goddess stacking for a while. So basically, it took way longer. I think they added like 4 minutes or something, like a ridiculously long time to the tier stacking process. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of a huge deal for a champion like Ryze, and especially like Jace, because with Ryze, like the mana gives you damage automatically. Yeah. So just getting the mana is good. On Jace, you build the tier, and it doesn't really do anything for you until you make it until you upgrade it into the mana moon. So
mana.
At that point, you're really weak, and well, it's mana moon more mana. It depends on how much you've stacked the tier or whatever. But the problem with that was that if you had to stack the tier incredibly slowly, it would take you a really long time to hit that power spike. And since really good Jace players are really good, and the tier got some buffs, he's really viable now. And also because like a lot of champions have been nerfed, and APs are really strong in top lane now, so you can actually pick an AD mid without sort of the armor stacking problem that happens sometimes.
Yeah. So I can try to read what the Tear of the Goddess does because I found it. Tear of the Goddess, plus 250 mana, 6 mana regen per 5 seconds. Unique passive, mana charge plus 4, maximum mana on spellcasting or mana exploiting up to 2 times per 8 seconds. Plus 1 maximum mana per 8 seconds. Max mana 750.
So basically the point of the way you build Jace, which Jace is sort of, if you don't know Jace, he's not a very played champion up until recently. Some people have mained him for a while and still play him even when he's kind of out of meta, but what's really strong about Jace is that he is a transform champion, so he has a melee and a ranged form. And in ranged form, he has ridiculous range and a really high-powered damage spell because he can sort of combo his speed boost and his damage spell together and creates this big explosion spell, and it's really strong.
Yeah, it really is.
It's really, really strong. So he really, like, the thing about Jace that makes him so powerful is that he is such a jerk in lane. Like, surprisingly for a champion who builds tier, because generally you're thinking is, well, if you build tier, you're kind of weak.
Yeah, but not this guy.
But the moment he gets that mana moon up, he starts destroying people. Yep. And that's what these people are using to their advantage, that he just does absolutely ridiculous amounts of damage. It is almost not okay how much damage Jace does these days. And because there have been so many nerfs to so many champions in the mid lane, like, Riot has been nerfing a new mid lane champion, basically, like, major nerfing a new mid lane champion, basically every patch this season. Jace has kind of, by default, gotten better because everybody else got worse. Yeah. Which is, what happens every once in a while. The champion just, kind of like Rumble also, because so many nerfs happened and the meta shifted so hard in the top lane that he was suddenly, like, really good. Although I don't think he's as good as he could be. And the same thing with Ryze happened, right? The tier got viable again, and people started playing him, and they realized how good he was because...
Yeah, or you did. And all the LCS players did.
Yeah, not a lot of people play it currently, except for myself.
Yeah,
but, he's a really strong
we've seen one, but that was in mid lane, and he did a horrible job of showing a majority of Ryze players
I played with the support once, actually, a Ryze support.
Wait, what? A Ryze support? No, we had him in mid lane yesterday.
Yeah, I know, but I played with a different Ryze.
Ah, okay.
Ryze support.
But yeah, dude, I think we actually also have to round this up because we've been talking about 2 games or 2 game series for...
Now, if you let me be the host for a little bit, I'll tell you that was actually what I was about to do. I actually closed the window for Worlds. But Worlds have been really fun, and I'm looking forward to the finals, even though Royal Club is going to get their ass handed to them on a Sunday.
Yeah, I'm going to have like 9 or 8 people come over in the morning to watch it on one of my friends' big screen TV that he's bringing over next weekend. So that's going to be fun.
Yeah, I'm also gonna turn on my setup and have some chips ready and everything. I don't care what time it is in the morning. We're just gonna get up. I got up at 7 at one point in the morning to watch Worlds. It's amazing.
And I can.
Okay, well, let's talk about the next topic, which is still League, but it's talk about the preseason, because today I saw the Odd One play a little bit of jungle on PBE server, basically on the new Summoner's Rift, and with all the new jungle changes. And what you saw some as well. You saw Nightblue play a couple of days ago, I think.
Yeah, it was a couple of days ago, and I was really weird because both Nightblue 3 and I don't know why the 3 is there, but he doesn't either, so that's okay. And the Odd One, they're both junglers for main. So that's kind of why I'm watching those, and they're very informative, both of them, and trying to help people and teach them how to play better League. And that's helped me a lot, and I know a lot of other people has too, but this is not a commercial for that. But yeah. So what I saw was that Smite was weird, because Smite was something you could use on champions.
In some cases.
Yeah, in some
really
cases.
Weird about jungle now, because what they're effectively doing is they're spawning. Like, what's happening right now is they're spawning the smaller camps later and the big camps first.
Yeah.
They're reversing that now, for some reason. I don't know. Then they're adding some kind of weird thing where, you know how Nunu, when he ate a specific, or that still happens, when he consumes a specific creep, he gets a bonus.
Yep.
That basically happens with Smite now on every camp.
Yep.
So if you smite you can't smite small minions anymore, only the big ones in the camps, which is so weird. And if you smite it, and I don't think you have to kill it.
Yeah, you have to kill it.
And you kill it late. Not with the smite.
Oh,
actually.
really?
That's not necessary. Yeah, for some reason. You get some kind of a buff, and they completely changed the red buff and the blue buff. It's completely different. The Wraith camp, not the white, but the Wraith camp, does ridiculous damage now. There was a level 1 Wukong in Odd One's game who tried to take that camp, and he died.
Wow.
Level 1. Because it did so much damage, he just died.
Shit. Yeah, okay. And I actually golems, if you smite that, you'll get an execute of 350. So as soon as a minion or a champion has 350 health or lower than that, you can
work on champions.
Execute it. I think it worked on champions.
That must be a bug,
I think
that's
too overpowered. He said that it was too overpowered. And if you does it with wolves or whatever they are now in PvE, but yeah, wolves give you a kind of like a ward. Yeah, it's a kind of like, you know, Mordekaiser's ult, where and then killing the champion gives you another controllable thing. That's kind of like that. It's a ghost, which gives you vision, but you can't move it. So it walks out to a specific spot and stands there, and it gives you vision. It's good if you counter jungling, but useless in your own, unless you're totally behind. But yeah.
Yeah, and then they added this. Have you seen that little white creature that's in the river? And when you kill that, you gain vision over dragon. And Baron.
It looks like a old Wraith.
Kind of a buff, movement speed buff.
You get the movement speed buff too. And there's some big circle-y thingy that you have to walk through.
I mean, the point is right now, there are so many changes. Like, they've changed. There are now 4 different categories of jungler item.
Yeah.
You can only get 1 Hunter's Machete per team, and you can only get it if you have Smite.
Wow.
And it's just, it goes on and on and on. Like, the Hunter's Machete does something completely different from what it usually does. Everything has changed. There's so many levels of mechanics here that I completely agree with Nightblue, who said that it was way too much. And also that there's no way they're going to ship it like this.
Oh, no, never. I hope they actually don't change anything. Just...
From what it is right now?
No, from what it is right now in Season 3. We are still in Season 3, right?
4.
Oh, 4, yeah, 4. What... From what it is in Season 4, just give us the new look of League. Because that looks gorgeous. That's amazingly looking. Don't fuck with the jungle, don't fuck with the top lane, and just let mid lane and bot lane be. They have fun. So
I mean, they're changing. They're also doing like a major change that I found looking at the PvE stuff, just what people writing up on League of Legends Wikia.com.
yeah.
That for some reason they're actually changing. Like minions don't have armor or MR anymore.
Wait, what?
So they basically instead of having armor and MR, they just have extra health. This is so that now you can't use armor pen against minions and monsters, which is sort of, I guess, makes more of a trade-off for armor pen and stuff like that. I don't know how that affects last hitting.
Yeah.
They say that's easier because then you could just look at your AD and say, oh well, he has 75 AD. I have 75. He has 75 HP. I have 75 AD. Last hit.
Yeah, but still,
that sort of makes.
Yeah,
sense,
that just
I guess,
makes it easier for Borg users to, or Blade of the Ruined King users to just take that and do more damage, because that's health dependent scaling.
True enough.
And the same with
I mean,
just...
it does affect some different things in kind of weird ways. But you got to remember that... Actually, no, that's wrong, because...
Oh, yeah, that does something with monsters.
There's a cap on minions and monsters for that item.
Yeah, I thought...
But yeah, it's kind of an odd... it's sort of... It kind of makes sense, I guess, but it's still kind of odd. And they're making a lot of changes. So even to turrets. Like there's really,
the shield from second turret?
Yeah, shield for champions and the shield for the guy. It's really weird. And then they're changing every single item that has mana and health regen to, instead of giving some kind of flat base whatever, it gives you a percentage increase to your base health and mana regen.
I don't know.
Which is kind of, I don't like that, because they do that in Dota.
Yeah,
that's what you basically do in Dota, and it's really annoying because, I mean, then you really got to look up what the stats are.
Yeah, I heard somebody saying, welcome to Dota 4, when looking at the PvE server. That's kind of like, okay.
At least for that, it's like Dota, I guess. Yeah. I think I don't know if I think that change is useful. I kind of don't.
Me neither. But still, my opinion on the whole matter with the PvE, don't do it. Don't do it. Just don't do it, guys. It was fine.
I gotta say, it was kind of. I mean, it's kind of fun to see Odd One have like huge trouble loading into a game on PvE server. When he got in there with Elise, he couldn't, like, the only thing that stopped her from walking into the opponent fountain was him holding down the stop. he couldn't stop her from walking into the fountain.
What?
It was really funny.
PvE lag.
There was like a lot of problems today. Then the game guy crashed and he had to start another one. And like there's so many issues.
Yeah, but they're not really having them on the normal servers.
I get that they're trying out new stuff on PvE because preseason is coming up soon. I think the season is ending on November 11th.
November 11th. That's where the season 4 ends.
It's less than a month away, so they kind of got to get in gear, right? But at the same time, they're just kind of throwing so much shit at the wall at the moment. I mean, I can't comprehend all these things. I mean, just the fact that the Odd One walked in to try to kill Dragon with not a lot of health, and he just died instantly because Dragon does splash damage.
Wait, what?
Like stuff like that. I mean, start by giving me the new map, giving me the new look of the camps, giving me the new like Dragon and Masher stuff and gameplay, because they have gameplay changes.
Oh, really?
And kind of stop there, and then let me kind of get used to this, because there's like major differences between like wall thickness and things like that are things that definitely need to be changed. I'm looking forward
mid lane
to it,
is smaller now. I actually saw
but they're changing everything about the map, making major item changes, removing a ton of items like Atmos Impaler gone.
Wait, what?
Like, thank God. You don't even know what that
is. Yeah, I do. That's a Chain Vest and Zenith Blade thingy. The critical thing. Where you start with the Baller's Glove and upgrade that.
No, Atmos Impaler, it does do critical damage,
but it's how you build it. I'm talking about how you build it. That's a Chain Vest.
It gives you armor, and then it scales damage based on how much health you have. That item was
really dumb, because it doesn't give you any health.
I've seen one person build it, and it was really stupid because he didn't have any health. Yeah, I don't know. People are dumb. I think it was a bronze.
Yeah, okay.
Makes sense.
Yeah, but don't hate on the bronze.
Yeah, but my plea to Riot right now is that Riot, I understand the rationale between pretty much all of these changes. They're not stupid. The problem is that how am I supposed to evaluate and learn anything when you're changing basically the entire game overnight? Mm-hmm. So please implement just the new map, the new Baron Dragon stuff, and let me get used to that to begin with. I would be because even the camera position is changing.
Wait, what?
It's kind of made the camera the camera position is slightly different in the new map.
Ugh.
So there's a lot of stuff to get used to there. Just trying to play.
Yeah,
it. So
that's. I think just give us the new look and the new stuff. Don't fuck with the jungle. Seriously, I mean it. This is my plea to Riot. Don't fuck with my jungle.
Don't fuck with it this way. This way is ridiculous.
Yeah, what the hell is this Dota thing?
One thing at a time, people. And I feel like it's kind of crazy. They're throwing out they made major jungle changes for Season 3. I know they do that every season. They made major jungle changes for Season 4. And all the stuff that happened in Season 4, like
wait, didn't we just get one more camp? That's it.
No, dude,
yeah.
Think about it. Ancient Golem has been changed. Quillcoat never existed. Yeah. Feral Flare is new. So much stuff has changed for jungle in terms of itemization and everything. Spirit Stone, remember that gave flat health and mana. That didn't.
And now it does just gives you regen.
Yeah, it's based on your damage now. And all that, they're gonna take all those changes, however well they worked or didn't, and they're throwing them all out the window.
Yeah. Kind of angry about that.
Honestly, yeah, that kind of sucks a little bit. But we'll get used to it. I hated Season 4 at first.
Yeah, you really did. You really did. Now you enjoy it like nothing.
I really like it. It sort of grew in. They grew into it, but I still think Riot made some major. I think they really picked up.
Yeah. In the start, I remember when Puppey and Soraka was stuff you would ban.
I don't remember.
You don't remember that?
I remember Soraka mid. Yeah. And I remember fucking hating the fuck out of
Soraka's new changes are weird, to say the least. She can't heal herself.
Which of the changes? The minor rework at the beginning of the season, or the major rework at the end of the season?
The major rework now. Where she can't heal herself anymore, she can't give mana out. She has a double AoE spell. Seriously, I think she's the champion with the most AoE spells. She has 2 dedicated for it. One of them is her Starfall thingy. And the other one is the silence, and if you stand in here too long, you get slow.
I know for a fact that's wrong, because Maokai has 3 AoE.
Oh, yeah, but away from you, AoE. Long ranged.
Well, Serath, though.
He has 1. Not 2. 3?
Long range
3,
AoE?
oh fuck it.
His stun is not an AoE, I think.
Yeah, that's a skill shot thing.
And, Syndra technically has a couple as well. So
oh, yeah.
there are a lot of champions that have, ranged AoE, but I don't know. I haven't played much of the new Soraka. I can't really say much. I don't think she's a very interesting champion.
No, that's still the banana.
I don't think a heal champion is very interesting.
No. They kind of took that away from her, though.
Dude, her new heal has a 4-second.
Yeah, I know, but you sacrifice some of your own health for it. But you can get that back with.
You heal when you hit people with your Q.
Yeah, you get health back from that. So she has inbuilt lifesteal.
So she kind of heals, and then she heals herself, and then she uses her own health to heal people.
Yeah, it makes sense. She's more fun to play now. I'll say that. But still. Way to give me the update about it.
The changes are like the changes to Sona.
Oh yeah, Sona.
Where they made some clever changes that sort of removed some of the bad gameplay patterns, and I think that's what they've been doing a lot, getting rid of most of the silences in the game, like the Kassadin silence, the Talon silence, the LeBlanc silence. All these things made the game more fun, removing thank God, the latest Akali nerfs where they removed the extra armor and stuff in her shroud.
Oh god, yeah.
Really nice. A lot of these things that kind of make the game toxic, I think they've been good at
now they just need to.
I still think they should hit the delete button on Rengar.
And Yi.
Yi as well. Yeah, Yi is toxic right now.
He's the
most toxic champion. They need to. I know they've reworked him in season 3, but they need to stop like the untargetable shit. Like the worst part about Yi is that I don't think they ever fixed the bug that does where Yasuo is the hardest Yi counter in the world, because to Yasuo Yi is not untargetable.
Okay.
I learned that because I played Yi into Yasuo and he killed me every single time because I was untargetable and he used his Q. He didn't care, and I died, which was great. So get rid of that.
Yeah. Just delete Yi.
Yeah, delete
He's
Yi.
not...
Yi and Rengar because they suck.
Yeah, Rengar, I don't really... he's not a fun champion to play. I don't have the urge.
He's so bad to play against. Like he's so. I just really I can't deal with champions that just come in out of the blue and do a billion damage and like there's no real fight, no real setup. They're just there.
He just comes in and explodes you.
Because it's okay with me, like someone like Evelynn, for example, she'll come up with flanks because she doesn't have like insta burst damage. Like it just pisses me off when someone can build full damage and basically that's not a risk. Yeah. That's just what you do. I think that's just annoying.
Really, yes.
And most of those champions are gone now.
Yep.
Most of those champions that used to just like delete people, like old school Kha'Zix and stuff like that, they're really gone. Like they need to be fed to shit to be able to do that now. And thank the Lord. And like stuff like Kha'Zix can be countered. Like remember to have people around you when you fight a Kha'Zix, because otherwise they'll get isolation.
Yep.
Stuff like that is really good. Well, that's enough for League. We talked about League for like 50 minutes now. So let's talk about some other games.
Yeah.
Rudo, this is your chance to fanboy out about Lord of the Rings, Shadow of the blah blah blah. Longest title ever. I think this is officially the longest title for a game.
No. We actually talked about this in a podcast. Yeah.
Oh, we did.
Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Las Vegas 2 is the longest ass title in video game history.
Well,
it's actually in the Guinness record books.
The Lord of the Rings Shadow of Mordor is pretty
long, but still, it's I've actually just done the math. It's 10 syllables under that.
Wow, that's a lot. Then again, it's technically not called Lord of the Rings. It's actually just called Shadow of Mordor.
It is.
It's kind of weird.
The Lord of the Rings is just because of the franchise. They have to have that in there. Kind of like the Tom Clancy's stuff, but that's...
I think we're doing well now talking about the title and not the game. I think that's very good.
So, as you all might know, that I have been playing this game since it's up on the channel. And I've completed the game. Some days ago, actually, and the episodes are slowly rolling in, so don't worry, I've recorded it all, and they're coming 2 out every day. Unless for this day, because I didn't manage to upload them in time, and my internet connection was shit. So yeah.
You've been having real luck with that.
Yeah, I really have the worst luck with that. But Max is actually categorizing this dear game here as a looting game. Or to an extent. And you think that because of all your killing and rune collecting and stuff like that? And
well, I mean, Shadow of Mordor is a game that's very aptly described as Assassin's Creed with Batman combat and a loot system. That's the reverse of Diablo.
Dude.
It may seem kind of confusing, but that's really what this game is, set in Lord of the Rings.
Dude, I'm really sorry to say this, but Assassin's Creed always had the you need to counter attack mechanic.
Oh yeah, but
you haven't played the
seriously tell me that the combat is not Batman. It is Batman.
If you play Black Flag, you have an attack button and you have a counter button.
No, you've always had that in Assassin's Creed. But what happens in Assassin's Creed is that you're surrounded by guys, you stand still, then one guy attacks you, everybody else is like, well, it's his turn to attack you. I mean, I'm not going to step in on his territory, because like that guy, he gets to have his time. And then he goes in and he hits you and you're like, countered! And you murder him. And you go like, who's next? And then the guy goes, well, I think that guy did a pretty good job dying as he did. I'm going to go in and see if I can... Yeah, I died as well. Good job, man. I'm going to get my paycheck paid tonight. And so that's what happens, right? It's very dynamic in the sense that everybody stands still. It's boring. So what happens in Batman is that you have a guy who's like flailing around and punching everybody, and everybody's attacking, and you're countering and stuff like that, and you're trying to build up a hit streak. There's there's no combos in Assassin's Creed other than like the stupid part where you're just kind of like stab dead, stab dead, stab dead. It's not really a combo. It's like you kill one guy and then you can in Brotherhood just chain it into killing everybody, which is
fun.
Kind of stupid because people they just don't block. They just stand there with their sword and like, oh, you killed the guy, so you get to kill me now. Good. Okay, fair enough. I'm dying. Anywho, that's what this game is. So if you were like Assassin's Creed, fuck that, or I mean, besides for the story, because fuck that for the story, or if you're like Batman combat, I kind of feel like I did that. You're not gonna like.
No, but if you're like me and just need to get out with your anger issues at some point in your life, or just enjoy killing orcs and severing their heads from their bodies by several feet, this is a game for you, because I can actually go into my into the stats of the game and see how many orcs I killed, and I'm over, how many was it, 10,000 that attacked in Lord of the Rings 2? The movie?
You're committing genocide.
Yeah, that was 10,000 orcs. I've killed more than that.
You killed an orc.
Yeah, more than an origami that tumbled some big
the Helm's Deep army. You basically destroyed that, and you're continuing. It's patently ridiculous.
Yeah, but hey, just today, I had to go at work at 5, and I woke up at 12ish. My girlfriend was at school because she doesn't have holidays right now, so as I do, and I sat in front of my computer and said, I want to play some Shadows of Mordor. Done recording, so I can just fool around, and I started off going in and for a half an hour just letting time pass, because I wanted stronger opponents, and found that I could still 4-hit a guy, so that was kind of weird, but yeah. That happened.
I mean, that's why, like, getting rid of your aggressions, you have to be a little bit patient, though. Because you have to go in, play the game for a little bit, get the OP abilities, and then you can go mess up some
No,
more.
Actually...
Because if you think you can mess up orcs from level 1, you can do that. I can. But really quickly, you're going to be swarmed by dudes. Like, that happened to you, too. I remember seeing that episode where suddenly you were fighting 4 different captains. What's weird about that game, though, is that I think... one of the things that made the first Batman game so great was that it was so polished. Yeah. And that is not a thing I would put on Shadows of Mordor. It is not it's not like a Battlefield 4 kind of disaster.
No, not at all.
Far from it. But it is definitely not a polished experience.
I like the game so much that I'm willing to oversee those small bugs in which I haven't really run into, but I think that's because you're running on a PlayStation, because I've had several updates that actually fixed stuff before I found them. So yeah,
it takes longer on consoles.
Yeah, that's why I don't buy games on consoles. But yeah, you have it for your PS4, the same with Chris actually, and I was the most intelligent person to actually buy it where it looks good, and buy it where it's run well.
I have a bad news for you. The PlayStation version looks better than the PC version you're seeing right now.
Wait, what?
It does.
Really? I've seen video comparisons, and I still think that...
Yeah, you can't really trust that, because like compression and stuff like that sort of fucks it up. No, actually what happened, I don't know if they fixed this since then, but the PC version had a toggle for motion blur that did not work.
They fixed that after... Yeah, they fixed that.
So then it's the same.
Actually, see, I got mine... 4 days before it was released in Denmark, actually, through Steam, because, okay, we fucked up with Spider-Man, Voodoo. We're sorry. Here's the game 4 days before it comes out. Thank you.
Actually, that happened for everybody if you bought it through Steam.
Cool. Nice.
Because that they unlock worldwide. So, actually, that happens with a couple games every once in a while, because they unlock worldwide for some reason. And I think it's just because like they didn't want to
keep Steam
like crap, and they have Steam. Like Valve owns Steam, and if they're like, if you don't like it, you can go somewhere else. There is no place else.
There's Origin and Ubisoft. Yeah, go fuck yourself.
There's Origin, no place else. So
hey, don't be mean to Ubisoft. I'm actually getting Assassin's Creed Unity through that.
I didn't say anything bad about Uplay. I didn't mention them because they don't exist. I mean, I have one game exclusively on Uplay, and that's Watch Dogs, and I don't.
Wait, do you have Watch Dogs?
Yeah, I got it with my graphics card.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, hey, you have more than that. You have the Splinter Cell thingy. We played it together.
Yeah, but I'm saying exclusively. Like, the only game that's only on Uplay, that's not on Steam or something else that opens Uplay or something like that. Like, they have one game that's like.
Oh wait, don't you have Far Cry 3 too? But that does the thing with opening.
Yeah, that's through Steam.
Yeah, but that still opens the Uplay thingy.
Yeah, it does. It does. I'm just saying that I have one game that's like exclusively tied in there. I keep forgetting I own it because it's there and I don't use it unless I have to.
Let's see. I have Assassin's Creed 1, Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood Revelations 3, and Black Flag.
Good job. That's highly sarcastic, by the way. I'm not the biggest fan of the Assassin's Creed games right now. I think those guys kind of they fuck up so bad.
That's
Revelations and then Assassin's Creed 3 are like
let's not go into that because you dislike Assassin's Creed and I love Assassin's Creed. So I love Assassin's Creed and you dislike it. But that's just it.
I mean, if you want to make me angry, just say Lucy's a Templar and I'll fucking punch you in the face. Because that's just not true.
I'm still agreeing with you on that part that she's not. I think that Desmond got way too high that day and got shit blown on Red Bull with vodka. And then he thought, hello, I have a golden apple and I can stab people. Great, you're a woman.
That's how far I got into Assassin's Creed 3, to the point where they say, well, it's too bad Lucy was a Templar. I was like, I know you're going to say that, and it still pisses me off, because it's still wrong. She can't be a Templar. It makes no bloody sense, and it's so dumb, and it's your only likable character. Your only likable character in the future.
I actually like Desmond.
And now she's evil.
I like Desmond quite a lot. And Rebecca. Rebecca. Isn't that one?
You like that? Oh, she's annoying as fuck.
No, Sean is annoying, and Desmond's father, I just want to shoot.
She's less annoying because the most annoying person in the universe is in that stupid group. Because, man, I mean, they dialed it down, but damn! Like, when you met that gang of idiots, I think it was in 2, I could not believe how fucking terrible those characters were. I was like, I can't believe you came up with Lucy, who's like this likable, normal character who has this pretty good character arc in terms of like being an assassin, yada yada yada, on the twist in the first game, whatever. And then you have like these stupid assholes filling up with. I mean, and then when like your dad shows up and he's a stupid asshole as well, and it's so bad.
No, still Sean. But hey, just go through when you're not in Connor or. When
you're not in hurt
when you're actually running around as Desmond inside of those thingies, I don't know, catacombs, whatever you would call them, Sean actually becomes more as a likable character because he's
I think they realized that he was the least.
Yeah, and then he opens up to Desmond more, and they're talking friendly.
Yeah, I don't want that to happen. I hate that guy. Like he cannot be validated in my head. They did it with Altair though. I'll give them that.
Wait, how the hell did we go from Lord of the Rings: Shadows of Mordor to?
Yeah, back to the point. The point was that you think that the PC version looks better than the console version. That is patently untrue. Because the thing that happened, the weird thing about the PC version is that it looks exactly the same unless you have those ultra textures on that require a graphics card from Mars or a Titan for $1 billion money. Whatever currency you use, it's $1 billion. So
unless you're actually using pesos, then you're kind of gotta get out with a quadrillion, because $1 million pesos goes for.
Point being, it costs like the graphics cards that have enough video RAM to run those stupid ultra textures that are not that impressive, honestly, require an absolutely ridiculous amount of money, because the only ones you can actually get are Titans, basically. I don't think it even works if you're running like 2 separate graphics cards that together have 6 gigs. I don't think that's even really works. But yeah, the problem is it's just super stupid. I think the PC version is fine, but it's like most PC versions right now. I mean, I like the PC and I'll defend the PC, but the point is that it's not very often that a PC port comes around these days that's significantly better looking than the consoles are. Most of the time, they're really not.
I don't know. Have you seen Pac-Man? Wow, that really worked. That really worked.
I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, I know, but I threw you totally off course there.
yeah, you definitely. I was like, that doesn't make any sense.
I know.
It didn't.
But it worked.
But yeah, I've been playing Shadow of Mordor as well on the PlayStation 4, as I said, and it. I mean, it's a game that's. I mean, the reason why I sort of break it down very reductively and say it's Assassin's Creed with Batman combat, a bit of a loot game tied to that. That's kind of reverse Diablo in Mordor / Lord of the Rings. The reason why I do that is because this game is incredibly derivative, and it's alright. Like, it's not, to me, it's not offensive necessarily, but it's not. It's like the last game, well, second to last game you should go for if you want something new and innovative this holiday season, I guess. Yeah. It's not.
No, but it's fun.
Like,
it's a good pastime if you don't have anything else to do.
I mean, basically, if you're like Voodoo and you really like the Batman games and you didn't grow tired of them at any point, and you still like Assassin's Creed to a certain extent, I think you're really gonna like Shadow of Mordor, and you should definitely give it a try. If you're more like me and you're more into sort of like you want something new and different and stuff, Shadow of Mordor is not the game for you. It's okay, but it's not really something you'll come away with any kind of reverence, I don't think. It doesn't really, like, the Nemesis system isn't that interesting. It's not enough of an innovation, I feel. Especially because it's kind of, when it breaks down, it really breaks down. Like, I've seen the Giant Bomb Quicklook and myself fight the same guy that's been beheaded at least once, 3 times within 15 minutes.
Yeah, I know. We watched some videos and saw that. Yeah, I noticed it. I didn't do it at the moment, but yeah, they kind of all look the same to me. But yeah, I think the fun thing is that when you actually look at Mordor, when you're playing and time passes, even though if you're not there, stuff happens. Like, you told me the other day, suddenly you got a rune somewhere because a Caragor ate a captain. And that was on the other side of the map.
Yeah, I mean...
That's awesome!
That wasn't on the other side of the map, but it was fairly far away, yeah. Well, the weird thing about that is that I don't think the game... I feel like that was kind of a weird thing that happened within the game that wasn't really supposed to happen, because it acted as if I had killed him.
Oh, yeah, you get a rune from everything.
Yeah, I get a rune, I see him dying moment, sort of slow-mo thing, as if I was in any way related to it. I didn't even know the guy. I didn't even have him on my list. I had no idea who he was, so he just kind of got murdered. But again, I think if I'm coming away with anything from Shadow of Mordor, it's that I should look towards kind of more challenging titles in terms of kind of their artistic fashion, because it doesn't quite scratch my itch, I'll say.
Okay.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah, kind of.
Is it okay if I move on?
Yeah, it is. I'm actually just sitting in on a topic list and adding a point.
Fair enough. You just do that. Yeah, I have a couple games to talk about. I went to Jutland a while back.
Ooh, what?
And whilst in Jutland, I picked up 2 humans.
Jutland?
Jutland, yeah, that's what you call it.
Oh!
Yeah, that's where you live.
It's like Jutland?
I'm
not juggling or juddling.
Jutla.
Okay, can you just call it Denmark? Because it's...
Well, I mean, I am in Denmark all the time. So anyway, I was close to where Voodoo lives. That's really Jutland, and he should know that. Anyway, I was in Jutland, and I went to this. There's this store. They have a lot of places which just basically sell CDs and games and stuff.
You
like
mean
that.
Story Studio or?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So I ran into I saw a copy of Too Human. I was quite surprised, and I think apparently Voodoo has not heard this story. I thought that was actually kind of common gamer knowledge nowadays. But Too Human, what basically happened is that at the end of the Too Human's development, or kind of while it was going on, Silicon Knights, who developed it, they sued Epic.
Okay.
Because they didn't feel like they got the support they needed to use the Unreal Engine 3, which they were the only developers who didn't like it. But I've only heard good things everywhere, so it's kind of weird. And what happened was that they got countersued by Epic because Epic accused them of they sort of made their own engine instead, and they wanted to kind of get compensation for having to make their own engine because they couldn't use the Unreal Engine 3. Thing is, their own engine was basically Unreal Engine 3 because they stole mountains of code.
Oh yeah, that I knew that.
So a judge ordered them to buy back every copy of Too Human that's in stores and destroy them.
Oh, okay. I didn't know the last part.
Because they lost the suit. So I was surprised to find Too Human because it was an American court, obviously, so not sure how it applies to Europe.
Not at all.
But I was surprised to find it because I thought that game was kind of gone. Because when I didn't think that it did apply to
not
Europe,
at all.
but when it happened, the game disappeared from basically every store I knew it was at because I was actually going to pick it up. Mm-hmm. So anyway, long story short, I played Too Human, and it reminds me of how terrible Xbox 360 games used to look.
Mm-hmm.
They look like shit, and on top of that, that game is just impenetrable in terms of its story. It's just, I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Like, I mean, I come from a country where we are educated in the Nordic religion and everything, and I have no idea what these fucking idiots are going on about. Like, and this techno-futuristic version of it makes no sense to me. And like the robotic stuff that makes gods, and it's just a clusterfuck.
Yeah, really. And by the way, here's
it has
link.
this like,
yeah, you didn't see that.
No, I wasn't looking for it. I just found it by accident. So I bought it and I played it, and I don't know if I'm gonna play any more of it. I played the first couple of hours of it, and
still shitty.
Too Human is I played the demo, and I remember going, it's not very impressive. It does not hold up. Like, from the original assessment of it not being impressive to now where it's just terrible. But I kind of wanted to own it just for the sake of having that game, because it's such an odd story, both in terms of like the actual story, then the development story, then the lawsuit story, and the destruction, and the basically Too Human almost bringing down Silicon Knights by itself, and the whole thing is just this amazing drama of crazy, stupid decisions and idiots. That's just amazing. And I implore everybody, if you don't know about Too Human, for God's sake, don't play the game.
God, no. You will
useless.
Seriously break your machine after dying 4 times in a row. And trust me, you will, because it's hard.
Yeah, when you die in that game, a Valkyrie comes down to pick you up for no reason, because you don't go into Valhalla.
You come back.
She just picks you up and drops you.
No.
But the point is, it takes 1 billion years.
More than a minute.
It doesn't really make any sense because he takes you up to Valhalla, but you're not dead, so you just end up going back there. But it really takes like a minute and a half.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
It's annoying.
And on top of that, the whole game just, I kind of figured out a little bit of how to play it, I guess, but it kind of feels weird, like, 'cause you have no camera control, because the stick you'd normally use, the right stick to control the camera, controls your attack move. So you're kind of, to win a fight, you basically just hold it forward, and you just wait for your guy to just chop it into bits. It's really odd, because I thought you had to like push it forward to do attacks and stuff like that. You don't really have to do that. You can just sort of like move it forward and like slide it a little bit, and he'll do stuff and look like really kind of cool. I guess. And it has like this really weird loot system. Like the moment you pick up a really good gun, it immediately, like the moment you pick it up, it immediately scales the enemies to that gun.
Oh god, yeah.
So all of a sudden you're like, why am I not doing any damage? Oh right, I got this pickup that's really good. That whole game is
that's just dumb. Really dumb.
That game is just dumb.
Yeah, because then the loot system makes no sense at all. Because why should you get something new? Why should you loot something when immediately after you pick it up, all the enemies are gonna get stronger?
Exactly, that makes the loot system entirely pointless.
That's kind of like saying...
They fixed it a little bit. Because when I played it now, it's not as bad as it was in the demo, and it was when it launched. I think they sort of scaled the scaling. They changed it a little bit. I think in some patches or something. And the patches are still live on Xbox
360
on the Xbox servers, so you can actually still download the patches. But the DLC is unavailable because all the DLC and downloading the game like as an entirety has basically gone.
Yeah.
So if you have the disc, you can play it, but if you don't, it is gone.
You can buy it in Danish stores if you want.
Interesting story in terms of the development and everything that happened since then. The game itself is kind of a game that I personally, for the story of it, have to own, but I don't gotta play it because it kind of sucks.
Not kinda, it does.
Yeah, straight up sucks. The other game I have 3 games. The other game I've been playing is Forza Horizon 2 for the Xbox One. I am one of those assholes who bought every console when it came out. So being as I am an Xbox One owner and a PlayStation 4 owner, I've been waiting for like a game to play on the Xbox One because there haven't really been many. Like I'm not like I think Rise is kind of. I mean, if I don't like Shadow of Mordor for being derivative, then like Rise is like the epitome of a game I don't want to play.
Yep. So don't touch that with the fire tank.
I don't know what the fuck happened with Forza 5. Forza Motorsport 5 is just the biggest clusterfuck of a release I think I've seen that looks so pretty. I mean, for some ungodly reason, they've decided that you play every track at dusk. So what happens is you get around certain corners and you always have the sun in your eyes. That is not something that needs to happen in a video game. I get that can happen in real life, but in a video game, I don't have to deal with the sun being in my eyes all the time. It's fucking annoying. And I can't change the time of day because it's set. So thanks a lot. And that's not the biggest problem.
And that coming from a guy without a driver's license.
Yeah. Oh god. Like, oh my god. Like, Forza Motorsport 5 is like the biggest disappointment because 3 was so amazing and 4 was quite good as well. But Horizon is a bright spot for the console, for the series, for the everything. The first Horizon was really good, but the second one takes it to a whole new level. It is very simple. It's an open world driving game where basically they Turn 10 and Microsoft gave their code and their engine and all their hardware stuff, and they gave it to some British people, and they went, make an open world kind of arcadey racer with our technology. Yeah. What's great about that is that what normally happens is they make an open world racing game and it kind of plays alright. Or you get a simulation racing game that plays really great, but is kind of a little bit boring and stilted and whatever. The great thing about Horizon is that you get the best of both worlds. You can turn a ton of traction control and everything on if you just want the arcade racing experience, or you can have a really cool sort of almost sim in an open world if that's what you like, and that is what I like. And that's really cool. And on top of that, the greatest controller for racing that has ever been released is the Xbox One controller.
Okay.
It is unfathomable how good that controller is for racing. Because I know Microsoft is really good on talking about stupid buzzwords that don't mean anything, but when they talked about like the different rumble and stuff like that, that actually turned out to be brilliant. Like even in a game like I wanted to play Motorsport 5, even though it was a terrible game.
Just because you would feel the rumbling of the...
Because the controller...
Yeah, okay, so what you're actually saying is that if you have the car, and the right side of the car is out of the track, so it should actually go only in the right side of the controller. It does only do that in the right side of the controller. Oh god, that's amazing!
It's not just that. What's really great about it is that you know how like I own a pretty expensive racing wheel from Fanatec, and I mean pretty expensive. It costs almost as much as the PlayStation 4 does.
Oh, what the fuck!
So it's a really expensive piece of gear, and the force feedback in that wheel is comparable, if not slightly worse, than what's in the controller.
Oh.
It's that good. You have such great control and such great knowledge from the force feedback, because it's so important in racing games, to how is your car doing? Like, how much traction do I have right now? How much can I push this? How well am I doing, basically? It's just fantastic. It's crazy to me that controller...
Yeah, and I'm still wondering, if you love driving so much, why the hell don't you have a driver's license? Or a car, for that matter?
Well, I'm not going to get into that on the podcast. That's a list of dumb hippie.
Okay, yeah, and we're already 1 hour and 20 minutes into this, so let's not get into
so I'm
this.
thinking let's skip that. But anyway, if you have an Xbox One, even basically if you don't and you like racing games, you owe it to yourself to pick up Horizon 2 because apparently Drive Club's kind of crap, and what I've seen of the crew looks decent, I guess, but
there are so many bugs in there I don't even want to start because I was in the beta.
Well, it was a beta.
But
so,
still.
I'll say,
Battlefield
if you want a
Hardline
racing title for this generation, you want to see some kick-ass graphics and really want to play something good, Horizon 2 is fantastic. It may have that annoying, cringe-worthy, oh, this is a car festival, yada yada yada, we're a bunch of cool dudes in our Koenigsegg Agueras or whatever. Screw that crap. It fucking sucks. But it's dialed down to a decent degree. The point is, it's fucking amazing. Everybody should check that out. Everybody should buy an Xbox One to play it. It's fantastic. Everybody should just go get that game. That game is really good. If you have an Xbox One, fuck it. Just buy that game. It's like the best game of the year to me right now. It's really fantastic.
Yeah, year's almost over.
The last game I'm going to talk about is Bioshock Infinite. So, I beat Bioshock Infinite recently because I upgraded to a new graphics card, and my old graphics card had some trouble with the Infinite in terms of like some random frame rate drops. That game's kind of hard on PC. Kind of still is to a degree because one of those, the first video RAM hugs. We have so many of those these days, but the first real one. So I picked it up, beat that game, and here's the lowdown on Bioshock Infinite.
Yay!
The shooting gameplay sucks. It's terrible. It is an awful, awful shooting game. One of the reasons also I played through it on hard because that was terrible. Don't do that. And it's just, it's so bad. It is such a terrible shooting game. It is unfathomable. It is awful. It's straight up not fun to play. What's good about it, like, and this is gonna be weird. I'm gonna recommend that everybody.
Wait, what?
Everybody should play this game.
Why? You just said the core thing about the game is crap.
Yeah, it's a shooter with a shooting sucks.
Yeah, what?
Okay? And you should definitely play this shooter.
Is it just because of the aesthetics and the way the game looks and the feel of it? Or is it because of the storyline?
For days, man. That game has so much atmosphere. And the story is really, really
okay.
Smart. Like, it is one of the only video game stories out there that are just ridiculously smart and use the medium in interesting ways. And there are just so many levels of depth. Like, here's a simple thing I'm just going to point out, right? The very beginning of the game, you get into Columbia, which is the floating city, and you hear a group, like an a cappella group, singing a song.
Yeah.
And this happens, like, the time period is, like, in the beginning of the 1900s.
Yeah.
And they're singing a Beastie Boys song, I think, or something like that. Or, no, I think it was a Beach Boys song. That's right, Beach Boys song. Which, Beach Boys didn't happen until, like, 40, 50 years later.
Wait, what?
So something weird is going on here.
Definitely.
Like, and it's a really subtle thing they don't point out to you. I actually didn't even notice it myself. Someone else pointed it out to me afterwards. I listened to GameSpot's. They had a brilliant spoiler cast for that game that was really, really good. You should check out after you beat the game, obviously. It is really amazing. That storyline takes you to some fantastic places. And I'd say anybody who is interested in this game, start it on fucking easy and just get through the story without the stupid interruptions. And I mean, there are not enough words to describe how great the voice acting is, how fantastic the art style is, how great the atmosphere is, how fantastic the twist. I mean, I kind of guessed what was going to happen at the end, even though it's kind of...
Yeah, I spoiled it for myself, and we're not supposed to spoil anything on the podcast.
Yeah, we shouldn't. I mean, we can spoil stuff that's stupid.
Yeah, like two humans.
Bioshock Infinite is fucking great. Like, I mean... I don't want to like complain about games all the time, which I think I've spent a little bit too much time doing. So I want to point out some games that I think are really good. And Bioshock Infinite, despite being a bad shooting game, it's probably decent if you play it on easy, honestly, because then you're just gonna blast through it. I mean, it's really a sight to behold and something that people absolutely have to play, because so many games come out that are like much worse than Shadow of Mordor, honestly. But they're really, really derivative and kind of like, here's Assassin's Creed number 80.
Oh, wait, 80?
And
I missed a couple. Damn it.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens a lot, right? Like Call of Duty number 60, Assassin's Creed number 80, and How about you give us money for that? And it's not very often that a game comes around that's so great that even though I beat this game like 2 months ago, I put it on this list. Because it's so
That's
good.
impressive.
But not as a shooter, which is odd. It is an absolute hoot. I love that game. I hate that game for it's a terrible shooter, but I fucking love that game. It is like it's on that list with like Red Dead Redemption and Spec Ops and a couple other games that are just. I mean, if you haven't played those this generation, then I'm
Spec
so
Ops?
sad for you. Yeah, Spec Ops: The Line, ridiculously good.
I gotta look that up because I can't. For God knows, I can't remember that game.
Well,
give me a second here. Hi Google, you are my friend.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, it is definitely it's a contender for that list.
Oh yeah, that game.
Of mind-blowing, fantastic games that everybody should give a try. And I know not everybody's gonna like these games. Like, not everybody is going to think that Spec Ops: The Line is great. Not everybody's gonna think BioShock Infinite is great. But if there's just a little bit of a chance that you're the kind of person who would like a game like that, you owe it to yourself to try that
this
out.
game.
It's just really
I haven't tried Spec Ops: The Line, but I've looked at it and I was actually excited for it, and then I forgot everything about it.
Let me just say this: it is a complete me game.
Huh.
It is horribly flawed in its core gameplay mechanics.
But you love the aesthetics and the.
But I absolutely love the atmosphere, the aesthetics, the story, all that stuff. Like, I mean, with a game like League, for example, I care a lot about the gameplay because that's what I'm there for. Because the story is just useless and it has nothing to do with it. The story could not be there for all.
But there's still the dwarf freaks.
In like a single player.
Yeah, it's a single player game there.
In a single player game like that, you gotta have a hook, and honestly, there are some good shooters out there, but nothing beats a bad shooter with a brilliant story and some good. Like, honestly, that's to me. I'm crazy. I know. I'm playing shooting games. I don't even like shooting in them, but they're a lot of fun because of everything else around.
Yeah.
I think they show some potential for the media.
Yeah, I think that's just you being crazy. But hey, that's it.
Yeah, but that's fair enough. It's completely valid. Okay. Well, I think it's time to move on. Let's talk about
technology.
And let's talk about nerdy graphics card shit first. I put this on here. It is NVIDIA's new graphics cards. And there's one thing super great about them and one thing super terrible about these new graphics cards. So the great thing about them is that, well, actually two things. There's one thing that's kind of middling, I guess. So the middling thing is that the performance improvement over the top end cards, basically the one that Voodoo has right now, the 780 Ti, is kind of negligible. The 970 is kind of the same performance-ish, the same range, and the 980 is slightly faster. It's not anything to write home about. What's great about them is the performance in terms of wattage.
Yeah, like they don't use as much electricity.
They use way less power. It's ridiculous how much more efficient they are. And then there's the thing that really kind of sucks about them, and that's that right now it is impossible to get them with more than 4 gigabytes of video RAM. And as has been shown over and over and over again,
you need 6 or more.
Video RAM is so fucking important right now. Because the PlayStation has 8 gigs of video RAM.
Xbox One has how much?
The PlayStation has 8 gigs of GDDR5, where the Xbox has 8 gigs of DDR3.
Wait, what?
So it's not really comparable.
Kinda.
There's some ESRAM and stuff like that. It's really nerdy. The point is that no matter how you slice it, you're gonna need a lot of video RAM.
Yep.
If you want to play PC games, and right now the only way to get 6, which I still think is maybe not quite enough, honestly. I think you might want to wait till you get something with 8 gigs. Because the PlayStation has 8 gigs, it just makes sense. Like, everything is going to target 1080p with 8 gigs of video RAM, and you better get it. Because even though the CPU is way, way worse, and the GPU is way, way worse,
they still have more RAM. They have more to work with.
It's all about the bottlenecks. And that is going to be a huge bottleneck for a lot of these systems, and I think it's too bad. Like honestly, I've just bought a graphics card, and I was really tempted to go get one of these because the 970 is not very expensive. It has 4 gigs of RAM. The performance is ridiculous, and the wattage is low, and it's a fantastic card all around. Nvidia is really kicking AMD's ass right now. Honestly, it's a fantastic.
And both in prices of just you save money.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. It's really, really good, dude. They're fantastic cards. If you're in the market to get something right now, get the 970 without a doubt.
Or a 980, actually.
Overclock it.
You can.
Wouldn't get that because the 970 can actually overclock to a 980.
Yeah, but if you don't like overclocking, like I don't, because
I don't either. But it's actually not that risky on these cards because
they are
they use
overclocking
so much less power.
Compatible.
Yeah, for once, it's a graphics card that's overclocking compatible. And the great thing about it, on top of that, is that if you don't overclock it, the noise performance is fantastic. It basically doesn't make any noise at all, which is truly great. So there's some fantastic cards, but Nvidia, you gotta get in the game, guys. Like video RAM, like how can a top-end card come out right now with a game like Mordor just came out with the 6 GB video RAM
HD
thing,
if you want HD remake textures and stuff like that, make the game even more delicious and beautiful than it already is, because I think it's darn well impressive, especially when it rains. It just makes everything look fluent. But yeah, if you want it to look even better, you have to either go buy like 2 of my graphics card or Titan X or Y.
Yeah, you have to buy a computer's worth of graphics card.
Seriously, I was drooling over a graphics card that was costing close to double than what I paid for my whole computer.
But what's worse about this whole thing,
Only at 12 gigs.
Yeah, it's a terrible card. By the way, guys, anybody listening, if you're looking at that super expensive Titan that has 12 gigabytes of video RAM, that's 2 Titans on one card. It is cost inefficient and terrible. It's like the worst card NVIDIA's ever made. It's kind of interesting that they released that, and then after they released these 900 series cards that are just
they were like, hey, you have too much money to actually throw out or burn. Here, buy this and frame it on your wall.
You are bad at research, but have a lot of money, I guess. Is what that card says. I'm an idiot, but I have very much money.
I just won the lottery. Give me stuff.
I'm a dumb jerk.
Okay, if I won the lottery, I would actually buy it. Mostly just to frame it on my wall and said, hey, see, I used money for stupid shit. And it's pretty. Hey, it's pretty. I would frame it because it's pretty.
2014.
I would seriously frame it just because it's pretty.
Yeah, but it is totally the I'm Rich app of 2014.
I think...
that's really stupid.
Yeah.
Well, so yeah, that's enough about graphics cards. They don't have enough video RAM.
Yeah.
And fuck that. That's really...
we will
really,
have more RAM.
If we have 1080p monitors, if you don't have a 1080p monitor, you're basically sobbing right now. Because that is the worst fucking situation to be in if you have like a 4K or what is 1440p monitor.
20.
It really sucks because most of these games are just off the chain in terms of performance requirements for these higher monitors right now.
Really,
it's so hard. You've got to spend so much money on graphics cards to get that to work at all. It's so sad. Let's talk about Voodoo, you want to talk about gaming gear because Logitech had some new stuff out.
Give me a second just to find it again. Logitech.
It's a G910 Orion.
Yeah,
Spark RGB mechanical.
Yeah, and it looks amazing. I think it is a. So they revamped their whole system with okay, we're going for the give me the name of the keys.
Mechanical keyboard?
What they're made in Sweden, Switzerland, and what are they called? It's Cherry switches. Yeah. They went from using Cherry switches to going into their own G switches, which
is kind of crazy because they're going against the entire market because Cherry kind of owns the entire market. Cherry keys are everywhere.
Yeah, but they didn't do it first.
Everybody else's keys don't exist.
But they weren't the first to do it. Actually, I hate to say this name out loud, but Razer did it first. Yeah, but you didn't hear about it because it was like in the medias for a month, and then people bought the shit, and after a month the shit broke.
Oh, they recalled.
Yeah,
the
because the keys were poorly made and poorly constructed.
So they were made by Razer.
They were made by Razer. But yeah, seriously, there was so many things wrong with those keys. So they pulled them back and stopped the production of them. And they just it was kind of a rush job too. And the new keyboard here, G910 is what I would call the new step in a good direction. I haven't personally tried the new G keys, but from what I've heard and read, since this keyboard has been out for 3 months now, it's yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That long? And I have never heard of it? What the fuck am I doing?
Living under a rock.
Apparently. Well, I am living under concrete, so I guess that's kind of a rock.
It's made from rock, but yeah. Melted rock. And grinded. But yeah. Okay, rock. Enough of the rock.
Enough about the rock. Never!
See the movie.
Bring back fast something.
But yeah. I've heard that they feel like both me and Max are owning the G710 Plus.
Yeah, it's actually my second mechanical keyboard. Yeah, we're both really like the brown keys.
Yeah, and
right?
I've heard that they feel so much like the brown keys that you can't really tell the difference, other than there's some slight improvements. Like I don't know if you've
faster response, right?
Yeah,
that's what
faster response.
Voodoo sent me a page for this. I never actually. I just saw this keyboard for the first time, like just
an hour ago or something. So. No, wait. Let's see, 2 hours ago, since the podcast is 1.5.
Since we won't stop talking.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yay!
But yeah, so and other than that, it's actually a remake of the G710 Plus keyboard, just with 4 extra macro keys, and then the placements of the in-deepening of the keys are more comfortable for our fingers. It's not like they're sliding over it as easily, because they kind of have a little kind of see a ramp and then see it go inward, so like a downwards ramp with a blocker on it. That's kind of how they are.
Yeah, it's convex-ish, I guess.
And the keys are moving upwards, kind of like a normal keyboard, but a bit more. So like you're gonna ram into the key above it, without if you're not lifting your finger slightly or just like making a fluent motion upwards.
From what I can tell, they're also doing some stuff with like the keys on the side, like the tab and caps lock and shift and stuff. They have it's slightly like the end of the key is lifted slightly, so it's kind of a slant. So you have an easier time telling which key you're at due to like.
And shift is bigger, which is actually useful. In some cases.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, I hate when they change. I'm so bad when it turns like changing the enter key slightly or doing that.
I think I think when you look at the overall layout of the key, that's not the Danish keyboard lookout, because the shift key is smaller on the Danish version, because we have an extra button at the C.
Yeah, we have the weird bigger than smaller than slash key
that they have from M and out. That they have that. They don't have
weird,
3
weird
extra letters.
With keyboard differences. The point being, I am bad at. I'm so used to keyboards being a certain way that whenever something changes, I remember like. I had a keyboard for a while with a smaller enter key, like what's normal on American keyboards, I think. I misclicked that key so many times it hurts. Like I can't. Like, I mean, I'm so used to it now. It's so terrible.
If you look at the Orion Sparks layout, the small enter key, I would not live with that. at all. But in Danish
What's
keyboards,
interesting about
that's
this
not a
key-
thing that you have to live with because it's not a thing. The Danish enter takes up 3 spaces.
It's absolutely huge.
And
I love it.
it too, because then we can actually hit the damn thing.
I know. Screw you, international standards.
We have 3
actually,
extra
what's
letters.
interesting to me that I'm looking at here is that it seems to me that they're finally making a replacement keyboard for that old Logitech keyboard. I can't remember what it's called. That super expensive one with the screen on.
Yeah.
Basically, that's what this is supposed to replace, because you can do the whole like putting your mobile phone in like a dock position.
Arc dock, which I still don't know how the fuck works.
Yeah, I don't know either. It seems to. I don't
Arc
know.
dock control integrated.
They say they support iOS and Android devices. So I mean, fuck you, Windows Phone.
Hey,
but
who the hell
cares?
has a Windows phone?
I don't know.
I have a Windows tablet. My girlfriend has a HD.
I mean,
that's what
I said. Losers have Microsoft products.
Oh, what the hell is it called? It's a Windows phone, and she bought it cheap, and it was a HTC. Yeah, the guys who can't make phones right.
Oh, they make some pretty phones, I guess.
When?
Like
when?
Their Android phone, the Mate.
When?
HTC One Mate.
When? That's still ugly. Seriously, my Nokia 3610. Oh no.
I mean, let's be fair. You can't really argue aesthetics. I mean, I don't think it's the prettiest phone around, but it makes. I mean, it's prettier than most other Android phones.
But the thing but the weird thing is, if you just go into Arc Control on the thing, you can actually see that that's a Windows tablet, standing over there and having the full specs of how your GPU, CPU, and or your racing game is running, and that's all through the keyboard.
Yeah, but then people have to develop stuff for that to actually work, though.
No, because I can get my mouse, my Logitech. Yeah, okay, dude. Windows tablets are not Windows tablets. They're just Windows 8 handheld.
Yeah, but dude, they still have to, like, somebody has to develop the how fast are you going app thing, whatever it is, however it works. They have to develop something specifically for this game to actually make that work.
Yeah, of course.
That is not, like, you can't just, like, make that work, like, instantly. Which is kind of the problem that's always plagued these keyboards with screens, is that you have to develop something for that to actually work, like some hooks or ties and stuff like that. Like, even something like as simple as Alienware, they have those, like, keyboards with RGB like this. You can have, like, you can use that to sort of light the keyboard in different ways in terms of what's happening in the game, and I think like 2 or 3 titles have ever supported that. Ever.
Yeah, but it's a stupid gimmick that people won't buy it for. It's just, oh yeah, by the way, it can do this. Yeah.
I think, I mean, I get it. It's sort of, I feel like the Orion Spark, from what I can tell, is like an upgrade version from what we have right now, right? It's like, it has basically the same media keys, basically the same layout in most ways, some small changes with a couple extra G keys and the movement of the M keys and stuff like that. But it's not that huge. Nope. It's sort of like the pimped out, Pimp My Ride version of our keyboard.
Yeah.
And it looks fine. I would like to try it out to see what the keys are.
Maybe a DreamHack.
Because without...
If we're going.
Maybe... Yeah, that's the big question. Yeah. I don't know if we are, because I don't think... I looked it up at one point. I don't think there is a league
tournament. Yeah, there is a league tournament, and I looked it up in terms of money, and damn, that's going to be expensive. Because I actually want to get my computer on.
Oh, yeah. Well, we should probably talk about that outside the podcast.
I don't know.
Yeah, DreamHack talk outside the podcast. But the point is, I would like to go to a store at one point, or whatever, and try out this keyboard, because I'm somewhat interested. But at the same time, I think... I'm talk for most G710 Plus owners out there that the G710 Plus is basically all the keyboards you need.
It is.
It has every feature one could.
Yeah, print screen is even visible.
Yeah, if you like.
Hey, dude.
Man, you're gonna have a pretty good print screen button on this keyboard.
Dude, I had a laptop before. I had to guess.
Yeah.
And I still don't know what scroll lock does.
Honestly, I'm not really sure either. I love that there's a pause button, because I actually use that in StarCraft, among other things.
Yeah, when you play that?
Yeah, when I stop it because somebody has to go to the bathroom. Let's
Wait, you have to go to the bathroom?
Kind of a little bit.
Okay. Let's move on and...
Yeah, let's move on then. Okay, there's an Apple event this Thursday, I think. It's a new... there's gonna be new iPads.
Oh, smaller things for my pocket and the phones for my backpack.
The phones already happened.
Yeah, I know. But still, that's the general theme that they're going for here. Phones gotta be bigger and iPad gotta be smaller.
Tablets gonna be thinner, I guess. It sounds like there's been some rumors that basically this is just gonna be the Air. I have the Air right now from last year with it being thinner.
Wow, really?
It just kind of... That's it, pretty much.
Yeah, okay. Why not?
And then it's gonna have the A8 processor instead of the A7 processor, and it's gonna have the Touch ID stuff, which is less interesting on an iPad than it is on a phone.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't know, the Touch ID stuff on the iPad, didn't.
The Touch ID, yeah, that stuff.
Yeah, that's not as interesting to me. So I'm kind of like really uninterested in this Apple, and the only thing I'm looking forward to is that I have a Mac.
Yeah.
That MacBook is dating back to the year of 2009. So it's really in need of an upgrade. If nothing else, it really needs to get to Yosemite, the new OS 10. But I would really, really like, and I'm praying to the gods that this is going to happen, a Retina MacBook Air. That's all I want. I just want a tiny MacBook that's super thin and stuff. They're talking about an even thinner MacBook than ever, with a Retina display, a really good IPS screen. Because I am a display whore, apparently.
You are. We all know, and we gotta get you treatment for that, but that's on a later date.
So I really, to me, I can't deal with that TN panel on my old MacBook, and it's also big and thick and annoying. But the keyboard is amazing on that thing. It's absolutely great. So I'm hoping that they're finally gonna introduce something I can replace my MacBook.
It was useful when we took the trip for DreamHack. That's good there. No, I mean your iPad.
Oh right, yeah. That was really good. iPad is really good. I like the iPad. I've upgraded a lot. I've had the first one, the second one, and the third one. I skipped the fourth one, and I had the Air. So basically, only skipped one iPad ever. And I think I am like 99% sure I'm gonna skip this year's.
Okay.
Because I don't really see the point in it, especially because I still have an iPhone 4, which segues us neatly onto the iPhone 6, which, Udo, you told me you had
nothing else than some Danish idiot told me that it could bend by just having it in your pocket, and I was close to punching him in the jugular more than just the 20 times that I already did. But hey, that's just because he was an idiot. And
that's the only reason why I was like, are we really going to talk about the new iPhone? Because I don't want to talk about bin.
No, I don't care about that. I want to know what's actually different about it. Because I have an iPhone 4 too. And mine is starting to be, okay, now we have to wait 5 minutes to actually see the new text I just got. And there it is.
Mine is also really slow. I mean, it helped. Like, I had an iPhone 4S, a black one, that I've had since the release. I got it a little bit before it released in Denmark, so I was back in September of 2011, I think. So it's not quite as old as yours, I don't think, but quite old indeed. And basically, it was coming to the point where the phone was super slow, and it sort of comboed that with the worst battery life imaginable. So luckily, my mom had an iPhone 4, a white iPhone 4S lying around that I kind of took over, which hasn't been used much since it was bought. So basically, I got the same phone, but without the cracked screen and with a almost brand new, not nearly as used battery. So that has sort of kept me going. I went from a guy who really liked upgrading my phone to one who really doesn't. I'm not very interested in upgrading my phone.
Me neither.
I do it out of necessity these days.
Nope.
But the point is, yes, you can bend an iPhone 6. Yes, you have to deliberately do it.
With a sledgehammer.
It's not... No, you can't do it with
Really?
your hands. But, like, the people who do it, they're basically using all the force they have in their arms and hands to do this. So it's not like, unless you're like incredibly fat and put it in your back pocket, then I mean, I guess you're just incredibly fat and you're having a giant iPhone in your back pocket and you're an idiot. Congratulations, that's more of a story than you bent your iPhone. It's not gonna happen. So what's cool? The iPhone 6. It's an ugly phone.
Oh, okay.
I think everybody thinks it's an ugly phone. It is kind of an ugly phone. And besides that little point, it is fabulous. It has brilliant battery life. It's actually the first iPhone to appreciably improve battery life since the last one, which is fantastic. It has a ridiculously good camera.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that.
It basically has the kind of focus you'd find in an SLR.
Oh, wow.
In an iPhone. On top of that, it can record a 720p at 240 FPS. So
240?
Yeah, I know, it's ridiculous. You can do some fantastic slow-mo videos. I've seen them online. They're really good.
That's just as much as my camera can do. Just mine can do in HD. Really, so yeah.
And it has more focus points than some of the cheaper SLRs. It is a really, I mean, it's not going to give you SLR picture
No,
quality,
of course not. It's still a phone,
obviously, but it is really good. And Apple has done some smart things with it. It's a great phone, and like the Touch ID stuff has been really, really good, and it continues to be really, really good. And from everything I know, this is without a doubt the phone to get. It's just a brilliant phone, and in every possible way. I've looked around. The screen is absolutely bonkers great. The camera is fantastic. The battery life is much improved. Thank God. And because man, it's bad, but like it's really, really good. The only sort of slight thing you can complain about if you're dumb bitch, I guess, is the resolution. I'm talking exclusively about the iPhone 6, not the 6 right now. The resolution is low, quote unquote. It is not a full HD display. It is slightly above 720p on these.
It's still a fucking phone.
But it's the same pixel density as the iPhone has been since the iPhone 4, so
it's still
that's
a phone.
The important part. And on top of that, it is a fantastically good LCD, and that is way more important than resolution.
Cool.
Honestly.
Now I know what I'm gonna get next month.
Yeah, get an iPhone 6.
What about the Plus? What's different about that, other than the price?
Well, the thing about the Plus has a couple of upsides. It has even better battery life, which is quite nice. It has optical image stabilization, which means that it has built into the lens. It has a mechanism that basically helps keep the camera.
Oh, okay. I thought that. Wait, that was a tricky word I didn't understand.
So normally, what you do is you have digital image stabilization. Basically, what you do is if you have a video that's sort of juddery, you cut off some of the lines of resolution and then shift it a little bit so that you still get a steady image. With optical stuff, you basically get the full resolution. You don't have to do any tricks, and that's obviously better. And it works quite well. That's what I'm told. And then, of course, the major feature is that it's a 1080p display, and it's absolutely bonkers huge. And it is in the vicinity of those... Is that really a phone or a retarded tablet sort of size? It is stupid big. What you can do online, if you're interested in buying an iPhone, I highly recommend doing this. If you don't know whether you want the big one because you're like, man, that optical image stabilization, full HD display, and stuff like that is actually kind of cool to me. I would maybe like to buy this phone because like a big screen is kind of cool to me, and I might want to skip out on buying iPads in the future, which is a good argument, honestly. What you can do is you can find these pieces of paper you can print out and cut out, and you have sort of like the outline or the size sort of an iPhone.
Okay.
Which is kind of cool because then you can gotta get an idea how big these things are. And I'd say that, as I've said for a while, that the iPhone 6 is, I think, 4.7 inches on the screen, which is great for a phone. It's still in that where you can like easily hold it, reach everything on it, and it's big and it's visible and it's great. The 6 Plus, however, is massive.
Oh, okay.
You look retarded when you speak into it because it's so fucking huge. It is ridiculously stupid.
Wow, yeah. I just found a Damn! A comparison here from the iPhone 4S to iPhone 5S to iPhone 6 to iPhone 6 5.7 inches. Oh my god.
It's getting close to being almost sort of 150% taller than an iPhone.
Oh god, there's a tablet comparison. There's 2 centimeters difference between the iPad. Oh god,
it's so big, and I get why they made it. I get why they made it because these Galaxy Notes have been pretty popular, and they're getting bigger and bigger. And I think Apple, like, as ridiculously big as this phone is, Apple actually restrained themselves because the latest Note is even bigger than this.
Yeah, it is.
The Note 4. Again, I get it, but here's the use case for this phone. If you're a lady who carries a bag around and doesn't have to put their phone in your pocket, then the iPhone 6 Plus, and you like the big screen and all the stuff, obviously, the iPhone 6 Plus is a ridiculously good phone for you to buy because you basically have a tablet with you everywhere you go, and you have a place to put it. For dudes, it's fucking dumb.
Don't do it.
Don't do it ever. It's stupid ridiculous. Because this phone is way too big, and I have most of my jean pockets can house it, but when you put like a headphones into the plug and everything, it's just gonna be so bad. Like don't do it. Don't do it.
It's a no.
Stay away. At the very least, print out one of these things so you have an idea of what you're getting into.
Or just
if you don't have the chance to try it out.
Yeah,
in a store.
or just Google it and go iPhone 6 Plus size comparison to iPhone 4. Because everybody knows how big an iPhone 4 is. But Max, I actually sent you a.
Yeah, I saw it. I know how big it is because I can do it myself. I have my phone here and I have the printouts, so I can sort of compare them.
Yeah, I thought I heard something in the background there. This is your paper.
It is so crazy. Like as I said, the Note 3 is a 5.7.
It's just
Jesus. Yeah, no, phone should not be that big unless, again, you are a lady who carries a bag around, so you have a place to put it. For the rest of us normal types, we should not get those big phones because they will not make our phones bigger.
Nope.
So I guess that's it. So to surmise, iPhone 6.
Yeah.
Fantastic phone from everything I know. Great critique of that phone and everything Apple purports for it to do really well. It certainly does. It is all around the best phone around, and the only reason not to get it is if you want something that's water.
Why would you get a phone that's waterproof?
Actually, it makes sense for some people. Like if you're really bad about dropping your phone and stuff like that, it makes sense.
Okay, then stop being a 13-year-old teenager.
Well, I have a friend who's really into triathlon.
Oh yeah,
so he swims a lot and stuff like that. So it's really nice to have a phone that's more rugged.
Yeah, good point.
And the Sony phones get around that pretty easily. They look quite nice and minimalistic and cool, and they're really rugged as well, which is good. Because that's one thing about the iPhone that they continue not to be, that is rugged.
They don't last good. But
easily. The bending is not the problem. The screen's shattering because you blew on it wrong is really a problem.
Yeah, they should try the Gorilla Glass thing. I had a laptop made out of that at one point, or its screen was. I actually tried with a hammer. Nothing happened.
They already did that, dude. They already used special glass. The first guys to use Gorilla Glass was Apple.
Okay. Why the hell didn't that work? I couldn't shit.
And that's because it's scratch resistant, not shatter resistant.
Okay, I had a different kind of Gorilla Glass then, because I tried it on my laptop. Shit didn't break with a hammer.
Well, that's pretty impressive. But the thing is, it's because they want to make them so
but
thin.
that was an HP, so that was the only thing that didn't break with a hammer.
Yeah, I was about to say, man. It's kind of impressive they made something that didn't break. That laptop basically came with an arrow in it.
Yeah.
The screen didn't break, but the processor was kind of iffy.
And we don't have a graphics card.
We thought you didn't need it. Well, not one you can access anyway. You don't know how. This is magic to us. We just kind of slapped some stuff together and threw it out there. Made some Chinamen make it. Or HP man, hew the packet for the win. I guess that does it for technology. So the very last thing, the added in haste thing by Voodoo is that the new Call of Duty is basically Titanfall.
I don't know. The trailer has been out for a while now, and it's the Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, Advanced Warfare it's called. And it's basically Titanfall with less movability, and no Titans. And kill streaks. And I don't get it. Seriously, can't you copyright shit like that? Because it's, hey, you have 2 jumps on your jetpack. That's Call of Duty's way to say that you can dash forward and you can dash backwards, or dash forward and dash forward. And Titanfall, that's kind of like, okay, I can jump really high and then I can jump again because my jetpack boost thing. And that's still
what I'm more interested in I mean, I get that. A lot of people made that comparison. That it's basically Titanfall. What interests me about the current, or what we're Call of Duty right now, is that they made the shift from the 2-year cycle to the 3-year cycle with Sledgehammer joining. Which immediately made me kind of worried because Treyarch stepped it up with Black Ops and World at War. But Infinity Ward kind of stepped up and then took another step and then fell off the cliff. And everybody died, and
I looked at Modern Warfare 2, and then I looked at what's the newest one? That's Ghost. Yeah, Ghost, and I saw better graphics in Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah, because it looks like that game is so crap.
And that was not Call of Duty, that was Call of Dogs.
I think the defining moment of Ghost's history is when Digital Foundry, one of my favorite websites, you should go read it if you don't. They were reviewing a graphics card, and they said that this was the last time they were going to use Call of Duty Ghosts as a benchmark because they got the most random fucking results back from that thing, and they could never rely on anything, so they had no idea whether it was performing well or not. It was just the most horrible mess. And this did not happen at the release of Call of Duty Ghosts. This happened like 6 or 7 months after it came out.
They had time to patch.
Everybody talking about Battlefield 4 being broken is because they stopped playing Ghost because that was more broken. So I was worried about Sledgehammer taking over because so far Treyarch is the only ones who know how to do Call of Duty anymore. And I think Advanced Warfare looks kind of nice. I mean, I know, like, called derivative of Titanfall, but I don't think that's actually on purpose.
Really?
Because think about it, they started 3 years ago. That was before Titanfall was actually announced.
Yeah, but still.
So they probably didn't steal anything. They probably just kind of felt like doing that kind of thing. Like, if you're going to take a shooter into the future, then you're probably going to put jetpacks on.
Yeah, but still, really, I just think, look at how much money Titanfall. The only thing that brought the Xbox One back on the market, that was Titanfall.
Actually, it underperformed.
It actually made them sell more stuff just because of that.
Yeah, but not a lot. It was actually it was actually kind of an underperforming exclusive for the Xbox. It didn't really do what they hoped it would.
Yeah, but still, that's once again just Microsoft rushing shit. Or EA.
You could say that,
EA
but I think Titanfall, like, I think some people, apparently you as well, kind of overestimate how much of a success that game was. It was actually not. I mean, think about it. This was kind of deemed to be like the other Destiny. That's the kind of game people thought Titanfall was going to be, and it
had no at all storyline. Actually, Chris told me that he is going to get the new Call of Duty just to see how the Titanfall storyline should have been. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, well, that's the kind of offensive stuff we can always look to Chris to say. I don't buy a game sight unseen anymore. I always wait to hear what some people have to say before I buy them. So I'm not going to buy Call of Duty on release. I don't think that would surprise me a lot.
I'm not going to touch that with a fireball.
I think it looks fine. It looks cool. Like, to me, it's kind of it's like slightly over Assassin's Creed Unity, where Assassin's Creed Unity is kind of looks fine, but it's Assassin's Creed on the box, so that basically means who's not a Templar and go fuck yourself. Call of Duty is, I mean, Modern Warfare 3 was so lame, and I lost love for that series. But I still, when it's good, it's really quite fun. I'm a single player guy. I don't really like the multiplayer, but I'm hoping it's gonna be good. I hope it surprises me. It would be nice to be positive, to have a positive surprise like that. I wouldn't hate it. I don't disagree that it looks like Titanfall, but I mean, we haven't really seen all that much from that game. We haven't played it.
Wait, what game?
Typically.
No, it's not out yet.
So we don't have any idea how close or far it is from Titanfall.
Nope, not yet. But still, what I saw in the trailers was.
Yeah, but then again, if you looked at that Destiny trailer, the real life one without the graphics, animation stuff, like the idiots running around in costumes, you'd think that game was totally garbage. Which reminded me that I was all day I've been thinking about what to put on this topic list for this podcast, because we kind of
I asked you yesterday.
Udo asked me to do it yesterday, so I've been thinking about it today, and for some reason, even though Destiny is in my pile of games over here and I've been playing it, I forgot that was a game I played. And that recently came out, and I should probably talk about it. So I realized that when you talked about Titanfall, I was like, wait, Titanfall, Destiny, what the fuck?
How did you make that comparison? I just want to know.
It's a shooter, I think. That's about as far as
How did you come on that when you thought of BioShock Infinite?
So Chris, I don't know, because it's like a good game.
Yeah, whoa.
Oh man, the slap! I've been too nice this episode. I've been calling the iPhone 6 a good thing, and Nvidia
time to diss a game.
BioShock Infinite good, and it's time to fucking diss the shit out of the game. I mean, I did that to TQ, but that's a while ago now.
It's like an hour.
Yeah, Destiny. Let's talk Destiny. So Chris is a huge Bungie fan, like a fanatical idiot.
He's with Bungie as I am with Assassin's Creed. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, an idiot. Hey. So he really was really looking forward to Destiny. So he actually picked up a PlayStation 4 for the sole purpose almost of playing Destiny. So we played the beta and we played the full game, and that game is fucking weird, because in the beta you kind of got the feeling that a lot of content was going to be reused, but it was a beta. Like, fair enough, a lot of the game didn't really fit together. Like, the story wasn't really told ever, and the whole setup for the game made not a lot of sense, and everything was just kind of disjointed. But it was a beta, right? Like, so fair enough. You can kind of look past that. The full game is that.
Yeah.
Which is a bad thing, by the way. So,
but
basically, the story of Destiny is, and if you think this sounds lame and like I've reduced it to basically nothing, it's because that's what it is. So, what happened is that the big ball called the Traveler came to Earth and somehow gave us technology. So we were like, yay! And we flew out and we invaded some planets or whatever, and then the Traveler's enemy, the Darkness, this is literally what they're called, came and had a fight, and the Traveler fought back, and won, but got disabled or something, and basically everybody died except for one city.
Okay.
So the setup to this whole stupid game is that you're a thing called a Guardian. Like, you're a dead guy, and then Peter Dinklage in a robot flight thingy flies down and revives you or something.
He just turns on. He just changes the batteries.
Yeah, he just kind of revives you and stuff, and then he just says, "You've been dead for a long time," and I'm like, I guess, like, I don't know, like, what's going on? And then there's like, yeah, well, you go to the thing, and you're a Guardian, which are the people who are like the special defenders of blah blah blah,
blah, blah.
And then I mean, really, again, not explained better than this. So you go to Earth, Russia. And then you go to the moon, and you go to the Mars, and you go to the Venus and stuff like that. And in the end, you beat like a blob, which is like a darkness thing, I think. They don't really say. And then they go, great job, we started beating darkness back. Game over. Here's a gun.
Here's a gun.
That's all that happens.
Okay, but you guys talked about raids and stuff like that.
That happens afterwards.
Okay.
So, what happens is that the real game, it is like an MMO in every way. You have a dance button, which is kind of cool, so you can just kind of randomly dance at all for like weird times. And what you do is, after level 20, you hit the normal level cap. So you gain levels like usual, like experience, killing dudes, whatever. Get level 20, and then you have to get gear. The problem with that is that the gear has this ability called stat called light. The more light you have, the more levels you gain. Simple. The problem is that when you tie leveling to gear, your leveling becomes random.
Yeah.
Because in my case, I started picking up items, like the beginner items, the blue items that gave you 1 or 2 light. Chris, on his like second or third drop after level 20, got a purple item that gave him something like 15 or 18 light.
Wow, okay.
Which meant that he gained levels really quickly, improved his drop rate, and he continued to gain gear and stuff like that, basically at an alarming rate compared to me. So despite us having played everything but like an hour each together, we were horribly apart and couldn't play together anymore because I didn't have the gear I needed to play the stuff he wanted to play.
Okay.
Because he was higher level. And he had to basically, get worse rewards and less experience and everything playing with me, or he could just play by himself and get better stuff.
Yeah, okay. That's dumb.
And that never really changed.
Okay, really?
I had to... For some reason, he got all the good gear. It just dropped for him, and that was cool. And every time some good gear dropped for me, it was for a different class than the one I was playing.
Damn. So, wait, isn't there a trading system? What?
Nope. There's no trading.
Okay.
That's not me making it up. There's no trading in that game.
Can't you just drop it on the ground and he picks it up?
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
That's... Okay, I know there's really a lot of things wrong with, like, Borderlands 2, which is a heavy loot system too, but even that game has that. And you can even do trading if you don't want, like, one of the 2 other idiots on the team of 4 people that you probably know to get the stuff.
That's not the worst part.
Okay, what's the worst part?
The worst part is that there is really not a lot of content in Destiny. So basically, once you're done beating the actual game, what you have left to do is you can patrol, which means you can go down to basically the open level of the moon or Russia or Venus or Mars, and do these really boring missions that are like, kill a lot of this kind of guy.
Welcome
or go to this place and stand still.
Wait, what? Stand still?
Yeah, because there's this scam.
So wait, what you're telling me is that that's a first-person shooter of World of Warcraft collect shit.
Yes, that's what.
Oh, I'm glad I'm not gonna get that game.
So what happens is that that the other thing you can do other than patrolling, which is boring as shit, is you can play the missions you've already played.
Yeah.
If they're picked for like a daily or a weekly mission, which will give you extra stuff for beating them. So it's kind of doing the same content again. Then there are strikes, which are these like small missions into a specific area of a map, and there are a couple of those per planet, and those you can sort of grind over and over again for gear.
Okay.
And the only original content you're going to run into at level 20 that's not just higher level stuff you've already done, is the raid. The problem is the raid is incredibly high level, so to even get there, you have to either be lucky and some cool shit drops for you, or you have to go in and just like grind your way into this gear. Because you can grind your way into the gear, you don't have to rely on drops. But it is not, as you would say in traditional English, interesting, fun, or whatever.
So it's World of Warcrafty?
Yeah, the other problem is that you can gain like levels and loot and stuff from the multiplayer stuff. But the multiplayer is horribly boring.
Wait, I thought that was kind of like Halo.
Yeah, but the problem is that the multiplayer works like this. Like, you have a loot game, so basically either you make the loot count or you don't. Bungie went both ways. So the raw stats of, like, damage don't apply. So a guy who has, like, a really crappy gun that does 5 damage and you have, like, a 200 damage legendary gun doesn't make any difference.
Okay.
What is there, though, is basic abilities, like some shotguns have the ability to return ammo to your gun if you kill something with it, or if you hit something with a shot, or some things, if you, like, there's burst rifles, for example, if you miss one bullet in the burst, you'll gain another bullet in the burst. Stuff like that. That does apply. So it means that even though the levels and all the gear kind of doesn't count, all the abilities do count.
Okay.
So there's a ton of stuff that's really strong in PvP that's not good in PvE. So if you have the right gear for PvP, you can completely destroy everybody. Because you have those upgrades and stuff like that.
Yeah, and then if you go into PvE, you're fucked.
Yeah, kind of. So what's kind of weird about this system is that it doesn't eliminate the I just have the better gear and now I win. It sort of eliminates it.
Okay. But I thought that they were smart about this and said, okay, you can change how you look all you want, you can change the shit you wear all you want, you can change your guns all you want, but when you go into PvP, it's still just regular old, like, Halo combat. Just with, you have your own guns that look like you want them to, and yeah, it's harder.
No.
And you have your abilities like everybody else.
That's probably what they should do. I mean, what sucks about it is also that everybody brings in their abilities and stuff like that. So, like the Warlock class, the normal Warlock class ultimate or super move, is that he just fires like a ball that explodes, like a big AoE damage thing that insta-kills anybody.
Oh god, really?
So, like, you'll get, like, noob shot. Like, there are a couple of times I played the multiplayer where I died 3 times in a row because it just got Warlock ulted 3 times in a row.
Damn.
And when you're in, like, a enclosed space where you can't jump up to avoid it,
you're fucked.
Basically dead. Yeah, you can't really do anything. You don't really have to aim it. It just kind of kills you. This is
wow. That's dumb.
Which is, yeah, kind of lame. Which is kind of, like, that's sort of what's... Here's the good part about
this. Wow, wait, what? That was a good part?
I know, that's a good part. It is, again, there's a theme of this show, which is I hate on shooters that play well and suck at everything else. This game plays pretty well. They fixed some stuff from the beta, and it plays pretty decently. It's actually kind of fun to play. But that's heavily dependent on what gun you have, and since you can't really choose what gun you're going to use because you have to use the one with the most damage. I mean, currently I'm stuck with a scout rifle, which is a single shot rifle, and I hate it, but it's the only thing I have that does enough damage for me.
Yeah, okay, good point. So but I thought you had 3 weapons available at all times.
You do, but the ammo is very limited for everything that is in your primary weapon. You have like a heavy weapon, which is either a big machine gun, like a big machine gun, right, or a rocket launcher, and then you can choose either shotgun, sniper rifle, or what's called a fusion rifle, which is like a burst rifle. It's kind of cool. It has like a lot of elemental affinities and stuff like that. And then there's a primary gun, obviously. And there are 4 classes of those. There's basically hand cannon, which is single shot pistol, single shot rifle, burst rifle, and auto rifle, like an assault rifle, like a normal assault rifle. So what's really good in the game are assault rifles. I think Bungie's talked about nerfing that. I don't know if they've done that yet, but the auto rifle is ridiculously powerful compared to every other gun. So that's basically what you want.
Okay, so auto rifles are the way to go.
Yeah, in a ridiculous way. Yeah. And, well, again, back to what's good. The game looks really ridiculous.
Yeah, I've seen that.
It has no story worth speaking of. Whenever there's a story part, it's just lame and boring, and you wish you could skip it, but there's no skip button. I normally never skip anything, but in that game I really wish I could, especially when you're playing the same mission again and you're forced into watching the fucking cutscene again, just to get some dumb loot. That's annoying.
That's the pee break.
Yeah, I guess it is, yeah. And that game, it's actually better than what I make it sound like.
So there's still hope. Maybe they're gonna improve it through updates and DLC.
I'm hoping that Destiny 2 is better. I mean, there is a season pass thing, and they're gonna release some stuff in, I think, December or something. But I don't have the highest hopes, because the problem is that they've actually already said this, that some of the content that's gonna be released through the season pass is gonna be through environments you've already seen.
Backtracking,
which is not something like backtracking is already bad, but when you're playing a game like Destiny that has backtracking up the ass, it is backtracking all the fucking time. Like, it is backtracking. Like, if you were annoyed about if you're annoyed every time you had to go through the same environment you'd already gone through in your own apartment, that would be comparable to what you do in Destiny. It's like walking around your own apartment. You're basically doing this. You're basically walking through the same tiny area a billion times a day. That's what Destiny feels like.
Yeah.
And it's really sad because, again, the game plays pretty well and it looks really good. The story is just basically non-existent. I've tried. I've even tried looking at their stupid. You collect cards as you play the game.
Oh yeah, I have one of those. Do you want it?
I've tried looking at those. Oh, it's different cards. It's like online cards, so you get like these stupid online cards with lore cards, and they don't tell you anything. They're so bad. Like, this game.
Seriously, then there's more lore in Shadows of Mordor.
Yeah, Shadows of Mordor is decent.
Yeah, that's
lore, actually.
I collected a ton of lore stuff today, and I actually listened through it. That's fun.
I mean, I honestly can't believe that Destiny is this devoid of content. Like, it looks really good, and the loot grind and stuff is actually pretty fun, besides the stuff you have to do the same thing over and over again. And it is pretty addictive. Loot games tend to be. But yeah, it's not the game I hoped it was, but I didn't go in with the highest expectations. I think if you really like loot games, it's a game you should check out, and if you really like shooters, you should.
Yeah, if you like games like let's see, Borderlands.
Yeah, I mean, it's way better than Borderlands 2. Not saying much.
I actually like Borderlands, but that's.
I like Borderlands.
Yeah, Borderlands 1.
Didn't like 2.
Yeah, 2 was.
From what I've heard about the pre-sequel, I think you're better off spending your time with Destiny. But I think the best thing I've done in the last while is basically just putting Destiny away and playing other games, because it kind of got to the point where I was like, I wanted to go in to play it so I could pick up new loot, so I could...
Addicting.
I didn't know what to do with that loot, honestly, because I didn't really want to play the raid because it sounded really boring. Chris played some of it, he told me about it. It doesn't really sound very interesting. It's like more shooting dudes, which you're seeing plenty of. So we kind of stopped playing it, because I stopped playing it, I guess. And that's for the better. So, but yeah, I guess that's it for us for today. We've only talked for like 2 hours.
22 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, well, we did take a little bit of stuff that's going to be cut out from the final version, I guess. But yeah, I guess that's been the Meat Lover podcast for this.
Meat Lover podcast,
the third episode.
A year later.
Yeah, a year later comes the third episode. The third episode of Vengeance arrived, and I guess we'll try to do this again within not too long. Yeah. Well, long enough for us to have played new stuff we can talk
and
about.
Maybe see if there comes some new gear out. Preferably either graphics cards, not graphic cards, processors, or if they make a new RAM block like DDR4.
Oh, that is out.
I know, but for like instead of DDR3. If they standardize
DDR, you can buy.
I know,
DDR4
but
right
still,
now.
they didn't standardize that.
What do you mean not standardized?
Like that's what everything runs with for like. Yeah.
Oh,
the motherboard thing.
It's not adopted. It only works on those crazy new Haswell-y processors.
Exactly. So, if that happens, we'll definitely be back with more techie shit.
Yeah. I mean, we'll probably find something to talk about, I guess. I mean, AMD has to come up with some graphic cards because they just got their ass handed to them by the new.
Oh yeah, maybe they're gonna put more RAM into them. If they do that, I will switch.
They have traditionally had more RAM, I think, for the last couple of.
Yeah, you have 4. I have 3.
NVIDIA cards. No, I am running an NVIDIA.
Oh yeah, you're running an NVIDIA.
So, but when I got my NVIDIA 580, the new AMD cards had 2 gigs, and I had a 1.5 gig of video RAM. So they tend to have a slightly more. So maybe they're gonna heed the call of the gamers if they have anything to come out with, because I am kind of scared for them in terms of having products, because I've heard nothing.
No, but let's hope before Christmas time, because that's, let's be honest, the biggest time of the year for gaming. Yeah, anything. Yeah. Selling shit. If you want to earn money by having a business and you want to sell shit for a living, Christmas is the way to go, unless there's Black Friday for Americans, but internationally there's still... Yeah.
Well, yeah, if internationally we buy all our gifts on December 23rd.
Yeah.
23rd. So, I don't, but I know my dad always did. It was kind of funny. You can see him running around the local shopping mall, like, confused. Like, oh my god, I have to hand in these gifts tomorrow. This is ridiculous. That was funny. But yeah, I guess we're done. So, goodbye from Max.
Yeah, and thank you guys for listening. If you enjoyed the podcast, be sure to either leave a like or subscribe, and add it to your favorites if you want to listen to it again. I will see if people actually recommend it. I will not do it until recommended. I'll make this a downloadable version, so you can actually listen to it on your phone and all that, because it's quite long, and if you find the stuff that we're talking about interesting, leave a comment about it, and the more stuff people ask us to talk about, or people say that they like us and hearing us, the often we will do it. So yeah.
Yeah, just tell us if you're like, oh my god, I really like to hear your idea of some game, or what are your take on this, or this happened. I mean, just hit us up or write us on right in the comments.
See, that's
we'll check it out, even if it's done. Although no
World of Warcraft. That's World of Warcraft for us. And yeah, those episodes are out. And yeah, that was what happened with the reaction videos. That's actually why I'm still doing it. I haven't gotten any good videos to react to in a long time, but I'm still doing it because people keep asking.
Okay, I'll make a really gross video you can react to.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Well, goodbye, guys.
Bye.